This has been Brode, and you're watching Born to be Wild.
Greeting, traveler.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Born to be Wild, a Wild exclusive Hearthstone podcast where we have fun hanging out with friends, talking about the Wild format of Hearthstone and spotlighting members of the Wild community. I'm your host, Nate Wolf. Joining me, as always, a couple of my favorite people, Mr. Mike Lowe. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, we're doing great. How you doing tonight?
Good. It's good to see you. You got your koozie there. I like it.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Hydra.
Yep. Hydra is out sick tonight, so well wishes to him, and hopefully he'll be back next week. But thankfully, subbing for him tonight is my good friend Blutrane, so welcome to the show. It's always good to have you.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Always like moonlighting. Besides, you need one Canadian to rep, right?
That's right.
Representation.
It wouldn't be the same. And we do have a very special guest with us tonight. Mike, if you would do the honors, please.
Oh, yeah. Got a special guest tonight. For those who may not know, the guest tonight, Master of Murlocs, Dominate THL, good buddy of mine. Please welcome Nine Eyebrows. What's up, homie?
Whoop, whoop.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
That's pretty good.
I'll get my impression later.
That was
I'm a little
That's actually
more
really good.
Yeah, I've got a good one.
Nice.
I hear it enough, so I'll get ready.
Yeah, welcome to the show. It's good to have you.
Oh, yeah. Rank one.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
The timing is impeccable. I saw you were chatting earlier today. I saw you come in at Rank 1 Legend. What is it, super late last night or early in the morning, like on the first? So
Yeah, I guess it would be late night because I was up for most of the day. It was about 5 a.m. my time, so like 5 hours after the reset, I got it with the Anyfin Paladin.
which we just so happen to be talking about tonight. What a coincidence!
What a coincidence. Master of the Murlocs. Yeah, I'm checking the leaderboards right now. You're ranked 2. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was playing basically up until the show started. I'm 5-1 on 2 right now.
Okay.
Damn.
So hopefully we can reach that again, but we'll see.
Hey, that's a milestone. So that's super cool. We were chatting about this right before we came on the air. I think those of us who live on the West Coast have a little bit of an advantage because the ladder resets at midnight our time.
Man.
And I think, I don't know, most of us are kind of night owls, but and so staying up until midnight playing for a few hours, like, not a problem. I feel so bad for you guys on the East Coast that it's 3 a.m. Oh, that's rough, man.
It's rough.
Yeah.
Especially the next day. I mean, on what was it, Wednesday night, right? At midnight, the ladder resets. I stayed up until about 2:30, and I had to work the next day with meetings and stuff all day long. And man, it was not a good idea. I mean, but it's been fun because we've got this kind of friendly competition going, and then we started something in the Discord also with like little friendly competition. They used to have something like that in the Dad Legend Discord, and also back in the day in the Velens Chosen Discords, same type of thing. And so I know. Was it last night? Kind of our little brother, big brother podcast, the Hearthstoners. Gold Daniel was there. Shia Wasina is the new co-host, and Blutrane was their guest. And I know after the show,
Out to
Shia and Gold Daniel were racing to Legend. Of course, they both hit it already.
Yeah.
and me and Mike were like, hey, we should do that too. And I think I'm sitting at Diamond 5 right now.
Yeah, same here.
It's
Slid back.
Ladder's rough right now.
It is
really
rough.
Yo, as the guy who's the worst player here, let me get in real quick before you guys go. Yeah, cruised all the way with Q block. As soon as I get up there, Diamond 5, 4, 3, I started getting beat up by like these really fast aggro druid decks. And this isn't me complaining, because I don't complain. Play card games forever. But just so happens that every druid opponent seemed to have a board with 6 4/4s by turn 3. So I just wasn't able to climb past that. So at the moment, I'll take it. Day 2, 10-star bonus. A lot of players don't get that, I'm told. So I appreciate where I'm at. It's cool. Cool.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to save my thoughts for the whole ladder and MMR system later, but one thing that I wanted to just point out that might make you feel slightly better, Mike, is that apparently a lot of people got busted down this month. A lot of folks who had 11 stars got busted down to 10, and that's on account of speculation, because transparency doesn't exist. There were far fewer legends this month than the month previous, and
there were. I think
it was a big drop, right? Like almost 30% in standard, right?
And
it was a big drop. I thought I saw. Wild, it was a little less. I thought.
I took a screenshot somewhere. I think
Hearthstone decks Neon site kind of tries to. They don't have official numbers, but they kind of anecdotally keep track of it, and it was a pretty significant drop. And they're not saying that's why people got busted down. We're left to speculate. Some more on that later, but a lot of thoughts there. So I don't know if that makes you feel better, Mike, or worse. But a lot of people are doing the 10-star grind, and it's a lot more games to get there. Definitely.
It makes me feel better.
No, that's true. It's absolutely true. Okay, I want to see if I can post this up here real quick. This is gonna goof me up real quick, but we can chat about it. If sorry, go for it, Mike.
Yeah, it's my fault. For everyone who listens to the show, I always get everyone sidetracked. So let me get back to our special guest tonight. Nine Eyebrows. For those who may not know you, talk to the crowd. Let everybody know who you are, where you come from, how you got into the game, and then how you got your username.
Okay. I'll go in any order because I can't remember the order you did. But I'm from Arizona. I'll start there. I'm like 20, I think. Yeah, I'll be 21 soon. Crazy. But I've played Hearthstone since it would be 13 years old, because I started playing in the November of 2013 in the beta. And I've been playing pretty consistently since then.
You had a computer at 13?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm asking that somebody who didn't, so I'm just fascinated.
Yeah, no, I was I'd consider myself very significantly raised by the internet. Like, obviously, shout out to my family, love my family. But like, I did spend a lot of time on my computer growing up, just because it was what I did. My first competitive game was Smite. When I was 12, I played a lot of Smite on PC because it wasn't on anything else. It was when it was in beta. I was pretty good at that game. There was no like actual way of gauging skill in beta because they didn't show MMR, classic, and there wasn't any actual like bronze through diamond system at the time. But I was getting consistently good lobbies and ranks, so I was playing Smite a lot. That game is really frustrating, so I quit and started playing Hearthstone instead, which was an interesting transition to make. But I don't know, something about the game just hooked me early on. Funny, I remember when I first started playing when I was like 13, I disenchanted the first 2 legendaries I got because I found out how you could get old Murkeye, and I wanted the Murloc. And this is so funny that this is where I am now. But like when I was 13, I was like, Sylvanas, Ysera, get him out of here. Give me the war leaders. I just made 2 war leaders and got Murkeye.
Master of the Murloc.
But I'll go username next. My username comes from League of Legends. I started watching. I play League and I watch it mostly though. I was watching Worlds. It would be about 7 years ago now. I was watching Season 3 Worlds, and there was the Russian team Gambit Gaming, and they were like a dark horse in their group, and they were supposed to. They made it to quarterfinals, and they were supposed to win the tournament as like an underdog kind of thing. They were like really hyped up. And basically, whenever they would play, chat would spam 5 men, 9 eyebrows, 1 dream, because the 80 carry for the team just had a massive unibrow. Just a huge unibrow. So I took the copy pasta, the 5 men, 9 eyebrows, and I put that as my league name. And then Battle.net, you have to be a little shorter. So I just took it to 9 eyebrows.
That's a good story. That's a good story. I like that.
Yeah, it's a... Wow. I've got... My old name before that was Grunt Confetti, which is like in Halo when with the skull on, when you shoot the grunts in the head, the confetti pops out. So that was my old username.
I never played Halo.
That was like my gateway game, because I played that with my I remember playing that with my cousins, my dad, my brother, sister, from ages I probably shouldn't have been playing Halo. Young ages to be playing that kind of game, but got me into this stuff. So,
hey, well, we're happy to have you. I mean,
yeah.
So, what is it about Murlocs that you like?
The unique language.
Yeah. So, the language is something else, but they're like the Sims of Hearthstone in the way they talk. It's just unreal. The things that come out of their mouths. But the Anyfin deck specifically, because I played 250 games of the aggro version of Tip the Scales Murloc Paladin, and that deck is bad. I will say, I think that deck's bad. It's way too high roll dependent. But the Anyfin deck, I love it so much because it is if you get the perfect board of the 7 Murlocs, it's 30 damage. It's perfect. It just makes sense,
Yeah.
So it's it's just the perfect lethal. Turn 4 you play, or turn 3 you coin Prismatic. Turn 4 you just tip the scales for 30. It's just an art.
It was always, I don't know, the classic Anyfin deck was always one of my favorites. It was more control heavy with it was running Finja. And it was the only Murlocs. It was the 2 the Ward Leaders and the Bluegills and
Murkai.
Old Murkai. I think that was it, right?
Yeah, I don't think you ran the Oracles back then because of the Finja. But
right, that's correct. But I've definitely got a place in my heart for them. I think I was running it way back before the Call to Arms nerf, because you could pull a couple with that too. Good times.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, that was cool. When THL did a wild open tournament before they did their first series for it, I think it would have been I don't know. My time frame in my head is so bad. I think it was this summer, but this year has been so weird that I just can't pinpoint that. And I played an aggro version of Anyfin. It was the same concept of prismatic lensing either the tip or the Anyfin, but I ran the pirate package.
Okay.
Instead of the control package. And I ended up winning that tournament with that deck.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
And that was cool. I love that deck. That deck I ripped from somebody on Twitter, long time ago. I could not remember the name. If I did, I would credit them because
it's your deck now.
There you go. Right. That's how it works. We know the requirements. You only have to change 1 card.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Change 1 card, change the
perfect.
Deck name.
Yes.
Very cool.
Very cool. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Question: as a Murloc Master, have you played High Priest was it Abyss with any spell first day of school, and then it pulls out Tip the Scales and summons a bunch of Murlocs?
It's in that
deck, so you run Wand Maker with it. Wand Maker is the only way to really generate spells without running spells that block the prismatic.
Okay.
In the aggro version, you can run Anyfin too, or not Anyfin, Hydrologist, to get secrets to proc it.
Yeah.
But because you don't want the bad Murlocs in your pool with the Anyfin version, you have to run 2 Wand Makers.
It happened to me one day on ladder, and it hit me for lethal, and I was not even mad. I just curled my lip, gave him a thumbs up, and I was like, "That was pretty sick."
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Turn 4 lethal, but that's pretty cool.
Well, the way I got this deck was basically exactly that. I was playing the aggro version, like I said, and I queued into. I saw them in chat. the user Maxibon. I don't know if I said that right, but I hope I did. 1, 2, 3, 4. I queued into them on ladder, and they were playing the Anyfin version. This was in the Dark Lair meta before that got nerfed.
Oh,
They were playing the Anyfin version that was super tech versus it, and it smashed me because I was playing a lot of the Dark Lair then. And they added, or no, I was playing the aggro Murloc, and they added me, and they're like, "You playing aggro?" I was like, "Yeah." "You playing Anyfin?" They're like, "Yeah," and we traded lists.
Oh,
And
nice.
I think the Anyfin is a lot better.
that is awesome.
I think the Anyfin is really, really, really good.
It's definitely very explosive, right? So, I mean, we'll talk about the deck a little bit later. I guess I probably shouldn't get too much into it now, but it's yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, I like it because you've got like the big punch in the beginning. If you can pull a prismatic into tip the scale, so you've got an end game with Anyfin. So it's pretty
Or you
versatile.
just you can make the end game on turn 4 just with Nosformo. That card's insane.
So what type of decks do you prefer playing? I mean, you like combo, you like aggro, you like, a bit of everything?
Trying to think. I know my 2 favorite decks. The end of, I don't know what expansion it would have been or what year it was, but it was when Q Block was in standard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the Togwoggle Druid from that expansion set rotation thing. With like the Oaken, just the big armor package, UI Tog, Azalina, that not the Aviana version, basically.
Okay.
The one with Twig. That was my old favorite deck, and then I played Anyfin for a really long time in Wild. That became my favorite deck. So those are probably my 2 favorite decks, so I guess it would be combo. In Standard, I guess I play more aggro.
You get the matches over faster.
Yeah, so I can go back to playing Wild.
Fast and standard is relative, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my average match time from today with a Wild Paladin list is like 5 minutes, I think. The games are so fast.
Fast is good
Crazy.
sometimes, though. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that. So let me ask you a little bit. You had mentioned THL. So are you playing on the Wild and Standard THL?
Yeah, I'm on the Wild series with the team Caverns Below, with my captain Diamond, and then Twos, Cherub, G-Kick, and Number Theory are on my team. Shout out
sick
to all.
team.
Yeah, it's a really fun roster. We're having a good time.
Shout out to Diamond. Good people.
And then for Standard, I'm only playing Hero in Standard. I'm on the Wild Aces with Bill, Lord Zeo, C-Mac, and Twos.
You guys got WTY Bill?
Bill Snyder.
I know, I'm messing around.
Oh, okay. I that went over me. But yeah, those are like the people I sort of talk to most. Shout out to all of them. They're kind of, Diamond was the one who got me into THL. Well, Skittles did. But Diamond picked me up on the first team that I played for.
Hey, that's awesome.
So, I mean, that was, THL's great. It's gives something really good to look forward to every week, Yo, it's like, and it keeps you on schedule. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
Diamond's a beast. Last season, I got runner-up MVP, but Diamond captained 4 teams, if I'm correct.
Holy cow.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Diamond, shout out to Diamond, man. THL, that's a grind. So 4 teams right there, captain in 4 teams, props.
Yeah, he does. He puts in work for us. And he does a really good job of managing the teams, I think, too. Like, he helps with discussion, and he reminded me to submit for Hero, and he's not even my captain in Hero. Like, he's just nice guy, very nice guy.
Hey, that's cool. Good people. That's awesome.
For sure.
Well, we got lots and lots of news to talk about. So, you guys have any other questions for 9 before we shift focus a little bit?
No, but just a comment. As we're recording this live right now, Concerned Mom is piloting 9 Eyebrows deck. I don't know if it's exactly the same list. He might be tinkering with it, but Mom's pretty big influence out there for those who are still of the Turtle Mage faithful. So I think that we're going to be seeing between
Migration.
talking about the deck here on Born to Be Wild and Mom picking it up, I have a feeling that you're all going to be seeing this deck a little bit more on ladder.
Good. Then you can tell us how to beat it too. Then.
Okay. So I have it figured out, but I don't know if I can release those secrets yet.
That's fine. Let's talk about the deck a little bit later, anyways.
I will talk about that stuff later.
Later.
I like it. Okay, cool. Well, let's before we get into the meat of the show, I do want to say a quick thank you to our patrons, especially Shokunin and Pug Ugly, who are the executive producers of our show. Thank you so very much for supporting us financially. It's a big help, especially keeps the lights on. As far as the website fees go, and we're working on a couple new designs right now. We got to pay designers to do that stuff. So I am excited, though. We're kind of behind the scenes working on some designs for a couple new T-shirts I got to talk about it with the crew before I talk about it with everybody else. But it's some cool things in the works. So that's exciting. So Shakunin, Pug Ugly, thank you so much. Adam W., thank you so much. If anybody's interested in supporting the show, there's a couple ways you can do it. One is financially. If you go to patreon.com/borntobewildhs or go to our website, which is borntobewildhs.com. Even $1 is very helpful. I don't want anyone to feel obligated. If you're looking to support the show in non-financial ways, you could leave an iTunes review or a review on any of the other podcast apps, or the other way would just be to... Yeah, I know. We'll talk about that in 2 seconds, too. That'd be a great place.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good. And the other thing is that we've got a very active Discord, and just having the community participation is super awesome. So if you're interested in joining other members of the Wild community in discussion, in deck building, in racing to legend, or to whatever your goal is, jokes, memes, whatever it is, we've got a really active Discord. So if you go to our website, again, it's borntobewildhs.com. There's a link there to the Discord, and it's been an absolute blast. Met a lot of good friends through that, and be a fun thing to do if you want to support the show. Anyways, so thank you very much to our supporters. And then before we get into the news, generally Hydra would do this, but he's not here. So I wanted to ask you all a little bit, just how was this past week for you guys? I'll start out with Blutrane. How was your week? How are you doing?
Well, it's been tough. I'm off work presently for some health concerns. I guess the advantage is that I have a little bit of extra time to grind ladder. Although ladder's been brutal, I started my grind on EU and kind of flopped around on some different decks and settled on Kingsbane. It's not the best deck to ladder with, but I really enjoy it. And I think that was important to kind of help me through just the variance that we're seeing on ladder with such a wide variety of decks. So I was able to pull into legend with that 11-star bonus on EU. I think my final record was 53 or 54%, which is pretty good considering last season. I did it with 42, which felt really bad. But Kingsbane was about 60, a little bit less than 60. It would have been over 60, but on my final boss, you get 2 final bosses on 11 stars if you have the stars full. I totally misplayed. I had lethal the following turn against an aggro druid, but I played my raiding party before I broke my bane. And
whoops.
Yeah. Anyways, that game didn't end up going so well, so I deservedly lost it and then picked it up the next one. So yeah, some Kingsbane. I made a commitment to a few different players that I would get legend with something that wasn't big shaman. Kingsbane was a bit of a cop-out because I've had success with it in the past, but I guess technically I was true to the letter of my word. I wanted to do it with Discard Warlock, and I really got frustrated. I think I might try it on NA this weekend, because I'm starting to see Galactic Crawler everywhere, and, well, pirates don't like Galactic Crawler, right? So, yeah, entered in at 30-something. I'm probably decayed by many ranks by now, but, yeah. Kingsbane, good times.
Very cool. We were playing a little bit earlier today, and it feels a little bit rock paper scissors, but I'm trying to learn it. I'm kind of in that same boat with you where I always I want to return to playing some kind of warlock deck, especially like Q block is my favorite, and so I always fall back on that and trying to not do that. I'm about 100 wins away from my 1K rogue, and so I'm trying to jam Kingsbane, and it's super fun. It's a bit
of a wider field, right? I understand.
It's hard sometimes. I mean, anyways,
not winning feels bad. Winning feels good. So when you find something that works,
I will say there is something to quick games. Like if typically the Q block games would go fairly long. I mean, it's kind of a mid-rangey deck with some combo potential depending on what version you're running. And with the Kingsbane, it's like, hey, you win or you lose by like turn 5, turn 6, right around there. And so there was a couple games we were playing earlier, and it's like, they drop a giant taunt, 2 giant taunts. It was just bottom right. Let's move on to the next one. It gets frustrating for sure, but at least they're fast. So, anyways, Mike, how you been this week?
Oh, I've been doing great. So, after we did our co-op the other night when I streamed, we hit Legend. Obviously, we got a new month here.
That was fun, by the way.
Yeah, that was great. Me, you, who's it, Labor, and Duocat.
Duocat fell asleep. That was so funny.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, we're streaming. We're all talking and hanging out, strategizing and stuff. And I'm like, joking, kiki, ha ha, right, Duocat, right? Isn't that funny? I'm like, yo, where'd he go? He passed out.
Oh, that was fun, though. It was good times.
Yeah. Well, it was all good. So, yeah, we were turning the corner around, rank 2. And then Nate's like, all right, Mike, you need to wrap this up so I can go to bed. So we just we kicked it into high gear, and we ran the table. We went 10-1.
It was 10-1 to Legend, yeah.
Yeah, flew into Legend. So the new month has turned, and I got up at the new month 3 a.m. East Coast, and from 3 to 5 I climbed to Diamond 5. But ever since then I just kind of been sliding back and forth, but it's all good. Been losing to a lot of aggro druid, so just taking losses as they come.
I blame Blutrane for that, by the way.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I'm getting punished by aggro druid too. So I'm reaping what I sowed, or helped to sow. It's good.
I was cruising with Gold Daniel's Q block. That Vectis, Vectis is sweet, man.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be times where I'm being rushed down and pressured, and I need life. Slam down Vectis, and then one of the dragons will actually be Mistress of Mixtures. And then I found myself where this sounds crazy, but I cubed that dragon to get the 4 health, and then I play another Mistress, and then cube that Mistress, and then pop the cube, and then just gain so much life. There's so many ways that deck can win and then stabilize if you get down. Shout out to Gold Daniel for making that deck. It's pretty sick. The Vectis Q block.
Are you? I saw he changed it to pull out the birds and add Dirty Rat. Did you switch, or are you still with the original version?
Yeah, I did switch. I haven't come across the Dirty Rat yet. My client only gives me certain cards at a certain time, so I can't pull off the cool combos like everybody else. I only get certain plays. But I would like to play the Dirty Rat. But yeah, that list is just awesome. I'm going to climb some more after we get off tonight.
There's some fun potential there. I ended up crafting a gold Vectis earlier today. I like it.
Did?
I did.
Oh gosh,
Gold is sick.
Nice.
So the death rattles are the little ones are gold too.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy.
They're beautiful. So there's definitely some synergy there, because you've got Mistress of Mixtures, you've got the Void Caller, you've got the Void Lord, you've got it only whiffs if you, depending on what you pull, but it whiffs if you get a cube. It'll whiff if you get Terran Gorefiend. I saw him running Terran Gorefiend, and it'll whiff if you get that too. But
oh my goodness, I forgot about that card.
But if you're running, I think his version, it's so greedy, but is running Kenrathad also.
Does he run brooms, if you know?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say Terran with brooms is so cool. It's so good.
Mike, do you have the... Can you share the list in the chat, and we'll put it in the show notes too?
Yeah, I got that. No problem. Just to finish off my weak part, the Terran Gorefiend, the third cube, that card is so sick. Like, when you play Void Caller, I learned this from you, Nate, the other night, and I mastered it with Daniel's deck. People will just leave it because they don't want to see what comes out of it. So then, like, you can also play like a Mistress of Mixtures, and then slam down the Gorefiend, pull out whatever gigantic demon is in your hand, plus get some health back, and then slam down the broomsticks, and then now you got a Void Lord riding a broomstick attacking your opponent's minions. It's awesome, dude. Like, it's great, man. I love this deck.
Yeah, it's taken me a minute to get used to because it's different than what I normally play. But it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. The only reason I'm not running it is because I'm trying to wrap up this 1K rogue. But oh man, the other thing is it ruined my all gold deck because I don't have. I have the whole deck in gold except the Terran Gorefiend, and like I'm short by 300 dust. So
that's a really high value gold, though, right? Because you like all the things that it would spawn would be gold too.
It's true. It's true.
So that's like that's a value dust.
Well, and I've seen a lot of Kingsbane on ladder so far, and there was a turn. You know, I mean, you can play the deck super greedy, or you can try to get more value out of it. And I was seeing so much aggro that somebody had popped one of my Void Daddies, and I had these 1/3s with taunt, and I played the Terran Gorefiend to eat him, and then popped the Terran to get bigger, little taunts, and they just conceded. It was awesome. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely, it's fun. It's super fun. So anyways, I love that deck. I could play it all day. It's so fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop talking because I'll honestly keep talking. It's not. I'm gonna shut up.
Well, I think one thing that like we started talking about it over the past week, and then so the days all run together right now. This has been a strange year, but over the past week or so, we have been spending a lot of time in the Discord. We did a night where we played a bunch of Battlegrounds with folks from the Discord, and that was really fun. And then we did some co-op with Mike playing, and Labore and me and DuoCat, and I think there was a couple other people that jumped in for a little bit just to hang out, and that was super fun. So I think we're going to try to keep doing some of that stuff. I love doing the co-ops, and so if anyone in the Discord wants to reach out or whatever and do some co-op stuff, whether it's us playing or you playing or whatever, like I'm interested in that.
Yeah, man, it was cool to just be chilling on stream with people in voice, because like after a while I forgot I was streaming. Like, it was awesome.
Chatting, doing like the co-op games definitely helps with my it helps with any sort of like ladder anxiety for me personally. It also helps just like pass the time, because I've got a bad habit of either playing too fast or having like divided attention, where I'll be wanting to watch like Netflix or listen to an audiobook or something while I'm laddering, and then honestly it's a bad idea.
I get that.
I know it's a bad idea. I still want to do it anyways, but anyways. So 9, how was your week? What have you been up to? Aside from
I was gonna say outside of the last like 2 or 3 days, it's been uneventful. Obviously outside the last 2 days. But like leading up to that, I was basically just like playing a ton of TFT. Because I was kind of like waiting for the new season of Hearthstone to start, because I just didn't want to keep pushing with old decks that I was playing, and I didn't really have anything super fun that I wanted to play. And the season reset, and I just started jamming that aggro Paladin, and then messed with the Anyfin and started playing that a ton. But I mean, because of the last like 2 days, my week's been great. I've hitting 1 was really big. I've gotten 2 before. I've gotten 4 before, but I've never gotten 1. So that was a nice way to end the week. And then the Worlds for League of Legends starts tonight, so that's another huge thing for the week going well.
Nice.
I've got that to look forward to every weekend for a bit. So yeah, I mean, all things considered in this world right now, can't complain too much.
I hear you. Same boat for me. I mean, I'm very grateful that it's Friday night. It's been a long week for me, work wise, and so it's nice to finally be able to kind of relax and stuff. And I don't know. I agree with you. It was kind of an uneventful week. But honestly, like sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely. So. It's slower weeks where nothing happens this year has been better because stuff happening is generally just like, oh, whoa. So, I appreciate the slower ones when we have them.
Yeah, I feel you. So I don't really have anything to report aside from playing more Hearthstone than I probably should and crafting more gold cards than I probably should. And that's about it. I've been playing a lot of Warcraft 3 Reforged. It's been a lot of fun. Ever since we had the last lore episode with Goliath, I've been really like jonesing to play it. And so I started playing it, recording it for YouTube, and it's been an absolute blast. And so that's probably what I'll be doing this weekend. I still haven't played the Jaina solo content yet, so I need to jam through that too. But anyways, good times. So, all right. Well, I think I'm going to jump into the news because we've got quite a bit this week. I almost missed a couple things because there was so much of it. So let's kind of jump into it here. I just turned off the wrong thing. Okay, let's see here. Before we get into like the news, Wildcard, who runs our merch shop, they're running a special for the next week or so. I'm not quite sure what the end date is yet, but if anybody's interested in Born to Be Wild merch, they're having a 10% off the entire store. So that's our stuff, but it's also anything that Spangle sells. So if you go to our website and click on the merch button, it's off the entire order, and you can use it multiple orders or whatever. But if you put in code BTBW, Born to Be Wild, BTBW, you get 10% off the entire order. So that's cool. Little shameless plug. But nice. I thought I'd throw it out there because this is the first time we've done one of these sales, and I'm very grateful that they let us participate in their store-wide sale. So super cool.
I like that. I'm going to need to grab this image so I can put it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you for sure. I've got it like gigantic, beautiful. So thanks.
I like that Reno face. Reno's excited to grab some merch.
That's right.
Get your merch.
We were gonna be rich. Oh god. The image was fun to make. I like doing Photoshop. It's fun. So in other news, we have so there's a brand new website called Warcraft Radio. It was put together by Ro, who previously did Realm Maintenance. And essentially what it is a collection of all of the different Blizzard podcasts. So Warcraft, World of Warcraft, Diablo, Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, all of that stuff. And so if you go to warcraftradio.com, and then if you click on the directory button, you can sort it by show. So I can say I want Hearthstone, or I can say I want StarCraft or whatever, and it'll sort all the shows. And so ours is listed under there, which is super cool. So big shout out to Ro. We appreciate being included. It's super neat. And if you're looking for other shows, you can go there. They do have a feature where you can review shows, and we have a couple on there. I think Mike did a shameless plug, which was really good, actually. And eSheep gave us one too. But if anyone is interested in doing that, but I highly recommend it. It's warcraftradio.com. It's a very cool like hub if you're looking for other podcasts as well. So
cool. There's
that. Let's see. Up next, there was an issue that was just identified, and a handful of people I think were happy that they weren't losing their minds with this new update. for this most recent patch for Hearthstone, there was an issue that was causing overheating in iPhones.
Look at the graphic.
Right? I pulled it
this one
from.
is no joke.
Yeah, this was crazy. For iPhones, it was this new patch for whatever happened was killing the battery super quick and like superheating the phone.
It was all mobile. It affected Android and tablet as well.
Okay.
Wow.
I saw earlier today they put out a hot fix for it. I was crawling the forums for it, and they put out a hot fix. I don't know if it's out yet or not, but I read about it. So
It's
This
out on
hasn't happened to
iOS.
me.
It's out on iOS. I don't know about Android, but yeah, it turned my iPad into a hot plate. It was ridiculous. It was
Yo, so-
unplayable.
Like this time last year, when I was like technically mobile mic,
yeah,
doing everything by phones, I'd play Hearthstone on every device you could think of. So it only like burned my hand when it came to the iPhone. I don't have it near me, but I had to have like something in between like the back part of the iPhone and then my hand. And then I also had to have the charger plugged in because it would just drain the battery. I have a Motorola G7 Power. The phone is designed to have a bigger battery life, so I started streaming on that before I got the PC. And it would
nice.
still get hot. It would still get hot then, but it's crazy to hear whatever was in this patch you guys are saying made the phones hot. Like hopefully like nobody got hurt. Like because I remember that feeling, man. Like this time last year, like last fall, playing Hearthstone on my phone, just hanging out, listening to podcasts, watching Twitch on my other phone, but like my hand was like on fire. I'm like, why is my palm like bright pink? This is crazy, dude. Like hopefully they get that fixed because that stuff hurts.
That can't be good for the devices either, right?
No.
Sapping the battery like that. There's no way that's good. That's not a good event you want to happen with an update. That's bad.
I will have to give them credit for all the issues. They've been very receptive to feedback and fixing things relatively quickly. So, I mean, it's good, I suppose. Not that an error happened, but that like, hey, they identified it, they fix it. That's cool. And also big shout out to Imic has been sharing all of the news in our Discord, so it's made our jobs a lot easier when it comes time to find this stuff and share it with everybody else. We don't have to look as hard, and I appreciate that. So
Yeah, so do
Imic
I.
also,
But
Imic will get his images shared by the biggest WoW streamers too. I saw that on Twitter. It's pretty cool.
we all steal them because they're the best. So I've got them upcoming for the nerfs too. So
Yeah, shout out to Imic.
In Hearthstone news, they just announced a new event that's already happening. 3-week event called the Masquerade Ball. I really like the idea thematically. The trailer for it was really good, and the idea is that hey, this is Skullman's Academy, and we're having a Masquerade Ball, and it's Halloween, and so this is what do they call it, Hollow's End, where for the next 3 weeks we've got a dual class arena. There was just an update to Battlegrounds for those folks who play it. We're all filthy casuals. We really suck, but it's a lot of fun. But there's elementals now in Battlegrounds, and then they've been doing like Halloween themed tavern brawls the next few weeks. So we get to see our dual class heroes though, which is really fun.
Jaina and the Witch Hat.
That's right.
She's back.
And Valir with cat ears. So, I don't know. This is cool. I liked the what do they call it? The little trailer or whatever they threw together, the video for it. It's got Kel'Thuzad, and his mask for his masquerade is his lich face, which I thought was pretty funny. So that was cool.
Oh yeah, Cowboy Rexar.
That's the best.
That's right.
Cowboy Rexar.
Yeah, you got the little star, little sheriff.
Coming from Arizona, I have to say that the Cowboy's the best.
That's funny. Yeah, I liked it too.
It is pretty tight.
Crazy.
Can't lie. Yeah, they nailed it.
Yeah, and if you look in the background, there's Rattlegore wearing a pumpkin for his head. It's pretty funny. So
That's
That's
funny.
perfect.
I don't have the artwork up here, but we could share it in the Discord. It's pretty cool. So with this event, there's like they just dropped so many things all at the same time. So, I mean, we don't really touch on Battlegrounds here. We don't really touch on Arena here. But there's other stuff coming out. So, as far as news goes, there's 3 upcoming legendary quests. So one we just had a couple days ago, so September 29th. And you do these legendary quests, and they reward you with 3 packs. So it's a Skullomance pack, a Year of the Dragon pack, and then another pack from a different set. And so September 29th, you got 3 packs by playing at least one game of dual class Arena. Upcoming next week, October 6th, there will be a legendary quest that you will get 3 packs for playing 50 cards. And then they're releasing the next Book of Heroes for Rexar. And then, so in about 2 weeks, October the 13th, 3 more packs for defeating Leorox in the Rexar Book of Heroes. So that'll be pretty cool. 3 packs. Free packs are good. So we can open our free packs and disenchant everything to craft gold cards. Isn't that terrible? Oh, God. The other thing that's coming up soon, finally, we get the opportunity to get a gold transfer student. Now, the funny thing about this is that they haven't released how to do this yet. They've been a little bit vague about it. So when they shared this picture, they said it was something to the effect of, hey, you have to at least play the Rexar Book of Heroes. You've got to do a match in Battlegrounds. You've got to do a match in Arena. But then there was something else in there about having to play Hearthstone with the various game boards, and they were really vague about it. So Ben Hearthstone, I think, had asked them specifically, like, can you tell us actually how to get this? And
investigate it, Ben.
Right?
Get him.
You know what?
Investigating.
Ben.
He's the best, man. Well, I think he's largely to thank for the unique voice lines coming for the alternate hero art.
Influencer Ben. Yeah.
I know, but I truly think he is, because the devs and stuff are on Twitter, and he's got, I don't know, 1,000 or whatever the number is on Twitter, but he runs this Instagram page. It's got like 10 times that amount of people. Yeah, Hearthshare.
Oh yeah.
And it was 10,000 people or 15,000 people or some absurd number like that. And so I think there's definitely some reach there. And he put up a little poll like, hey, who wants alternate voice lines for these alternate art heroes? And like everybody said yes. So anyways, free stuff, right? Free stuff is good. So free golden transfer students. I sincerely doubt that you'll be able to disenchant them, but
I was going to ask that. Is that known yet? Or I assume no, but
I don't think so.
$800.
The reason I think the answer, I'm just speculating. I think the reason the answer is no is because in the past when we've got other golden, it's because the transfer student itself is not craftable. It was kind of like when we all got Sathravar, and we all got
what's that card's name? It's like gives you a random deck.
Well,
everyone got a free gold one of those.
Was it Zale or was
Zale? Yeah. Didn't everyone get a gold Zale? You can disenchant that.
I never. I don't think you can, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think you can.
Wait, Whizbang?
Not Whizbang, because that one was in packs. There was one that they gave out to everyone for free.
Zale, yeah, you can't disenchant it.
And
actually,
Zale too.
Yeah.
Someone got a golden Zale for a 12 win on a heroic brawl, and they couldn't disenchant it. They had 2. They were like,
I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, it was like, man, talk about a gut punch. I'm
that
sure
is
they
a low
did
roll.
right. I'm
That
sure
is
they
a
did right
low
by
roll.
that person, but it's still funny that how that works out.
That is pretty funny. Hey, yeah. No, we joke about people wanting refunds for their free stuff, but hey, that 12-win heroic brawl, that's hard. That's hard, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, so a couple of bundles coming up. So we've got available right now. This is the Horseman Uther skin. So for $24.99 US, you get the portrait, you get a random legendary, you get 25 packs. Imic did the graphic for that, by the way. And this was hilarious to me because there was such a like rift over his voice lines because he says all the same things that normal Uther does, but then they used like an auto tune on him or something to like they
sound spooky.
That's spooky. But people were complaining like thematically, right? That like why is this like haunted, Uther saying the light shall destroy you or whatever? It's like no, shouldn't it say like the dark shall destroy you or something?
Yeah. Give me something evil.
Right? Anyways, so there's that.
And the tokens are still silver hand recruits. It's a bit wonky. 25 packs for 25, US with the legendary is a pretty good deal with the cosmetic thrown in. I think people lost sight of the forest through the trees. Like, this is a quality bundle for value. It's one of the better ones, I think.
The deal is fantastic. $1 per pack is great, plus a free legend and a cosmetic.
That they're going to fix now, or it'll be interesting to see how they fix it. I hope that when you hit the hero power button, you get like little pumpkin heads or something more ghoulish than silver.
Oh my god!
They can't change the actual minion, right? Because the like synergy cards and stuff, but they can give it like how Magni has the hammer, something like that. I like the idea of like little pumpkins flying out. That's fun.
They could change the they can call it silver hand recruit, but give it a different alternate art. I don't know.
That would be insanely cool if they would do that.
Won't.
They won't. But like you said, 9, like how Magni does it, the hammer comes down instead of the, I mean, it's just different.
Yeah.
Speaking of the hammer coming down, can we address the elephant in the room?
Sure. What is that?
They got this Uther bundle, and then they got a Rexar skin coming, and they just had a mage skin. When in the hell are they going to release a rogue skin? Like, seriously, I'm tired of making this joke. I always make this joke in the show. Damn.
Never.
Yeah.
It's hilarious because between Paladin and Mage, right? Each one of them has got 15, 20 different hero portraits and the rogue.
Even Shaman's got tons of them.
Oh, man.
Rastakhan, Thunder King,
the Murloc.
The Murloc. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, and I don't like Maev particularly. I know Maev has like her supporters.
I don't use it.
I've got strong opinions on portraits. I think the default rogue is by far the best.
I agree, but yeah.
I like Captain Valera. I know it's not a popular one. I feel like we have a lot in common right now with the whole one eye thing. But,
I respect the pirates. I love pirates. So
but I mean,
good.
Three is like they need something different.
Seriously.
I
hope Rogue isn't the last hero in the Book of Heroes. I hope it's not the last one.
Oh man. But
you know what though? Sorry, Nate, go ahead.
I was just gonna say there's low-hanging fruit. Okay, it's so easily because they've got these created for the solo missions. They could take I can't think. I don't know the names. The one that's like the fox, the pirate fox. You know what I'm talking about? Was a Battlegrounds hero, I think.
Yeah, they could better.
They could do that
that's
one.
The problem.
You could
built this up so much. They got to deliver.
I know.
Like, the rogue mains are gonna go ape.
They could take Edwin and make him a rogue hero. That'd be cool. They could take Tess. Tess would be an awesome rogue hero.
Maybe the plan. They make Edwin a hero and then they rotate Edwin out of standard finally.
Oh damn! Yeah.
So they make rogue mains happy and then just gut it. That's the same move.
That's the ongoing joke, right? Every time they do nerfs, there's the meme of Edwin floating around, dodged another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Devil Cat says it's Captain Eudora is the one. Yes. We can
yeah.
I'd like a Tess. Tess would make an awesome rogue hero. I don't know what they're waiting on. It's like you said, Mike. We shouldn't have said it because now rogue will be last, right, for the Book of Heroes.
Thanks, Mike.
Yo.
I will say that they've been pumping out new portraits a lot faster than they ever did in the past. So in the last month, we've got 3, right? Yeah. A new mage and the new paladin and the new hunter. That's pretty fast. So
more the merrier, I say.
What I would like, and I can't believe they haven't done this yet, when they released the random card back, I thought it was the coolest thing. I would love it if they did the random hero portrait. It wouldn't work for.
That's a cool idea.
It wouldn't work for Rogue, unfortunately, but the rest of the classes, because that'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but I think regardless of,
idea.
I do like this horse, whatever is headless horseman Uther or whatever it's called, is really cool. I like the green Fellfire. I think it's cool, and just the value.
Awesome.
The value is totally worth it. That is available September 29th through October the 13th. So for 2 more weeks. We'll have to talk after the show. Maybe we'll do a giveaway for funsies.
Ooh, giveaway alert! Listen, guys.
Hey, why not? We'll figure it out and post something maybe in the Discord.
You know how we do it. It's coming. It's coming. That's my built-in echo. I'm on a tablet, so I got to do effects.
I love it. I need to hook up some soundboard effects, maybe for next week.
Ooh,
we've got it. Hat hooked me up. I just haven't had time to mess with it yet, but soon. TM. So here's the next bundle is the Rexar Book of Heroes. So the Book of Heroes is free, just like the Jaina thing, but there's also a bundle, right? So the next one is the Warsong Rexar bundle. It's $9.99 US, so $10. It comes with 5 hunter packs and the Warsong Rexar hero skin. Normally I wouldn't do this. Like I remember when the mage one came out and the value is crappy, right? 5 packs for $10 is like, but I'm a sucker for the cosmetics, so the skin is cool. That is good from October the 13th through October the 20th. So looks like it's only going to be available for a week. I wouldn't be surprised if they brought the skin back at some point, but
I am not a Blizzard shill, but isn't that that's a 6 skin, the Rexar one? I like that one a lot. I think that's way nicer than his 1K portrait. I like this one. I'll definitely be picking it up.
Me too. I mean, I get all that stuff anyways, but the 1K skin is so derpy. Like just the look on his face, he looks like confused or I don't know, like he ate something that tasted bad.
I don't know.
Duin really likes this one too, so I feel validated. I think it looks great. And again, 5 packs for $10 with the skin. I mean, look, expense is relative, but at least they're not charging 20 or something outrageous. Like they did with the previous cosmetics, like Medivh, Magni, and
I was gonna say, wasn't Magni more expensive and you didn't get packs? And
exactly.
back then, yeah,
it was $10. I think they were $10, but you got nothing. I mean, well, it was different. You got
a card back.
Yeah, you got the hero and the card back. The cool thing is when they did those 3, I think the hero power was a little bit different. They had the voice lines, they had the card back that came with them. But I agree. I mean, $10 is, like you said, expense is relative, but $10, you get the 5 packs, you get the skin. What was really interesting is the 1K portrait. I saw a preview of the Rexar Book of Heroes, and they use his 1K portrait in that, but without his wolf mask, his Batman mask. It's interesting. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. You'll see it. You'll see it later. And then there's one more thing. And I know Mike is flexing right now, but this card back will be available starting October 13, the Halloween card back.
They're bringing it back.
They are bringing it back.
Wow.
Oh, that's my oldest card back. I'm being invalidated.
Yeah, wait, what?
Care.
That's what Mike is running it right now. Hard flex on the people that don't have it.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. Like, it just occurred to me one day, like, people complain about certain card backs that I already have that I never thought of. So I was like, I'm going to use the card back that people are clamoring for so much until it's available. And then once it's available, switch back to the plain one that I always use. Because I don't care about the card back. It's just funny to use. It is pretty sick, though. Nate pointed out last week that there's wolves in the corners. This is pretty sick. I like the artwork here.
Yeah,
it's a nice one.
It's cool. The detail on it is super awesome. So I don't know. I mean, I like it because I think for a long time what it felt like to me, especially as an older player, is like promise, 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 but when are they gonna like make good on the promises? And now they're really starting to do that. I mean, we've had a new old card back like every couple of weeks or maybe once a month lately, which has been cool. A lot more in-game cosmetics, and even this Book of Heroes, like that. The Jaina one just came out, and the Rexar one is already coming out. Like that's pretty cool. It's fast. Because Hearthstone in general, I mean, especially for those of us who played WoW, we've been playing for what 5 years now, or 6 years, or some crazy number like that. And for years there was like no new content, or every 4 months when a new set comes out, that's it. And so this is like fresh. So, anyways.
Hey, real quick for the card back.
Yeah.
So I'm getting nervous because I got a feeling one day the first card back I ever got, which is Ice Crown, is going to be available, and then I'm going to feel really sad because then everybody can buy the card back that I got 6 years ago. But at the same time, I'm happy because that means with the same energy they're going to release the card back from the first season, that Pandaria one, and I want that one. So I'll be sad when they release mine, but when they release that one, I want to buy that.
That's
I'll be
hilarious.
the first one in line. I'll be sleeping outside, the night before. I'll be ready.
You know what? It's so funny. What would be hilarious? They get these card backs. If you got the original one, you would have the the normal looking one. If you had to buy it with gold, 5 years later, there's a hole punch in the corner, like they do with an expired license. Like you could use it, but you got the you got the noob version. So
yeah,
somehow do like a vertical versus horizontal thing. Just
God.
like flop it.
It was interesting though. Like when they released that survey a couple of months back, I got it, and one of the things that they were talking about is cosmetic changes, but they were also talking about alternative card art, like different artwork for the same cards. Specifically talking about the coin for whatever reason. But I know Magic does this all the time. Pokemon does it all the time. Like a new set will come out, they'll re-release the same card, same effect, but different artwork. Like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I wouldn't mind seeing my favorite cards with alternate art. Might be kind of cool. I don't know.
That would be cool. I like that.
So, I don't know, just a thought. But anyways. So,
I always thought that was the thing they were going to do, is like reprint old cards just with new names, new art.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Like
that
just go back on like good ideas they'd had in the past or something. I don't know. I've been surprised that they haven't done that too much.
Yeah, Slaviticus in the chat says, yeah, the Succubus got alternate art. Yeah, but that's funny. That's
a good.
But anyway, so this is interesting. You won't be able to read it on the screen, but there's a screenshot of the posting from the forum. So Kerfluffle he's a community manager, or I shouldn't say they are a community manager in the Hearthstone official forums. And they were saying that there is an update on the Scholar Jaina and the Horseman Uther portraits, that I think enough people complained about them not getting their own unique voice lines, that Blizzard has listened, and now they're getting their own unique voice lines. And I think going forward, they're going to be doing that with the other heroes as well. So I'm glad that they listened to feedback. It always makes me a little bit nervous that the trolls come out of the woodworks on Reddit, and Blizzard will kind of kowtow to them. But at the same time, it's like, they're listening, and I really appreciate that. And I am definitely not opposed to having different, special emotes or whatever. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
I think that again, it's like you said, Nate, it's nice they're listening to feedback. I didn't feel particularly strongly about this, but a lot of people really did. And, it's in the past, this wouldn't have happened. So I'll take it. No one had been harassed to the extent that others had been in the past for these changes that I'm aware of. So that's a good thing. Open the way gate is what I'm referring to. I think that I find it interesting how entitled individuals think they are to things. But that might be a subject for another time. But I'm not going to complain. I'm happy that they're listening to feedback. They're engaging with the community. And I think it's a good thing. Which is why I think the next item you're going to talk about is a little bit disappointing to me. But look, no one's perfect. I'm excited to see what they're going to release. I'm looking forward to having the updated voice lines. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's always fun. I mean, I agree. This was one that I didn't feel strongly either way. And I don't know, even the Horseman Uther with the funky like sound effects on his voice, I was okay with that. But I don't know. I guess that's a bigger deal for some people than others, and I don't want to invalidate how people feel. If you want that type of thing, that's cool. What I think is important in terms of transparency is it would be good for Blizzard to, just purely constructive feedback. I think it would be beneficial to say, hey, there's a new portrait coming out. It comes with new voice lines, or it does not come with new voice lines. It's just purely a picture, at least like let the buyer beware. Because I think people potentially, you get excited for a new hero with new voice lines and stuff, and then you buy it and you're like, oh, well, this is just a picture, no new voice lines. Oh, I'm disappointed. If they say ahead of time, it doesn't come with that stuff. Like, at least before you buy it.
Yeah,
I like that because to me, it's a healthy energy. If they're not afraid to say buyer beware, that means they know they made a cosmetic that's just plain and they're going to ship it. You can buy it. There's nothing to it. But when you ship something and you don't say buyer beware, now you give me that weird sketchy energy where it's like, hey, we knew this thing wasn't what you expected, but we didn't say it. I'm not saying they need to cater to people, but when you're sending a product out that you expect someone to buy, I feel like you could at least, appease them and like, hey, this is what it is and this is what it isn't. But when you get thousands of people saying, hey, we want this cosmetic to have, a new animation, some new art, a new voice, I get it takes time and effort for someone to work on that. But when you're going to make thousands off of that, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. I always laugh. Like, the ongoing joke is kind of like people want a refund on their free stuff. And so, right, like Imic is in the chat right now. He was saying when Nemzi first came out, she had her special voice lines and stuff, but it was the normal Warlock animation when you use the hero power and stuff. And they eventually changed it over time, but like that's free, right? And so I don't know. I think I don't know. I don't really feel one way or the other, but. I also think that they puts Blizzard in a weird spot because they're kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, they're going to release something and then no matter what, there's going to be a bunch of people who complain about it. And so I don't know. I kind of want people to just be happy for 5 minutes, Yeah. But whatever. Speaking of not being happy for 5 minutes, we had some nerfs. I almost forgot to include the nerfs because it happened like right after our last show.
Yeah.
No, I thought you meant tonight. That's good.
You know what? It's funny though, because for a while there, they were announcing. We've been recording on Friday nights for I don't know, like this whole time, and for a long time there, they would release like news updates, like either right in the middle of the show or like right before the show started. And so when they air their news, like after we've already recorded, it's like, oh man, you guys missed your window. But so we got 2 nerfs. The first one is to the Druid card, Guardian Animals. This is a dual class card. People don't play this in Hunter. What? I didn't even realize. So Guardian Animals was 7 mana. It got increased to 8 mana.
The Twilight Hunter in Twilight Runner in Hunter. Doohan played it in Hunter, of course. I don't think it's very meta though.
He's done it all.
Not in Hunter. I don't know. 5
Not
or
in
less.
Standard either.
I'd play it if it was 5 or more in Hunter, but
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so funny. I didn't even realize it was a Hunter card. That's terrible. So I don't know. I think people have been playing it in Druid, right? In the it's so funny what we consider Jade Druid these days. Really only has Jade Idol, and that's it.
Jade Blossom, yeah,
and Jade Blossom.
A lot of people had success with it. NHL fan, Memnarch, a couple of others. It was a really cool deck. I really liked the card. The Guardian Animals was viable in Wild because it accomplished 3 things in one. Right? It allowed you to activate a quasi board clear via Rush. It drew you cards with the Twilight Runner, which is amazing, and it'd get you a taunt out as well. 7 mana, it was. This is my hot take. So it was fringe playable. I mean, it wasn't fringe playable. It was just at the line of playability because you could, Blossom and then Bloom, Lightning Bloom, or you could. Some other decks were running Overgrowth, and so you could kind of get it out by turn 4 pretty consistently. And now
That's
at 8,
gross.
it feels like it's just past that point of viability. It's like when they nerfed Aviana from 9 to 10. Difference is that Aviana wins you the game, so people still run it. But the fact that you have to play that extra card to trigger Aviana via Innervate is kind of similar with Guardian Animals now.
Yeah.
In Standard, I'm not too sure. I played it a little bit when I was dabbling a little bit in Standard last month. I don't know if this kills the card in Standard. I suspect not because it's such a huge tempo swing. This was a Standard nerf. People in Standard were up in arms over this card from day one.
I know it really hurts the deck in Standard from what I understand. Talking to my hero team, they say Druid is hurt a lot in Standard from this. It hurts in Wild too, though, right? Like it's just like that deck doesn't work, right?
Evil Devil, who's kind of a notorious Druid player, he plays on all 3 servers. I think he's home base is EU. He's still running it, but I think that the card is. I think it's done. I mean,
I wasn't huge on it to begin with, so in Wild specifically, so like it would be really hard for me to want to play it, but I can still understand it. It's still, I mean, drawing 4 cards if you hit a Twilight Runner, because pulling the 2 from your deck and then drawing the 2 with the Rush, it's a really, really, really good card. It's just the 1 turn in Wild means so much, or the 1 mana, I guess.
It does. I think this would be a good class for. They had been talking a little bit about when the cards rotate out of Standard to revert the nerfs in Wild. Like this seems like a good candidate to me when it hits Wild to drop it back down. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't care. I don't play Druid anyways. I got my 1K portrait and then I stopped playing it. So I don't know.
It's collateral damage.
That Druid deck is pretty cool. So I never played a deck where. No, let me say this: playing long priest games is annoying and boring. But this Druid deck, I don't think of how long it takes because there's so many different phases where like you got to ramp up, and then if you get the guardian animals out, and then you get to draw cards off the runner, and then if that doesn't work, now you got Ysera, and then you know what I'm saying, you get to try to battle with the dragons, and if let's say you're playing someone that good and that doesn't work out, like Nate said, it's a Jade deck. Now you got all your Jades going, and it's like so many different stages in the game in this one deck. It's crazy.
Yeah, I spoke to NHL about it, who is one of the, people who popularized it and who has an amazing mind for the game, and he was already thinking about how to build a Jade Druid deck, and it just didn't include it. I think it's... Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's much else to say other than we'll have to wait and see, because you never know, but... my hot take is that it's dead and Wild, and I don't typically dust cards. I dusted them. I was like, oh,
wow,
yeah,
spicy.
Yeah, it was
okay.
I can always recraft them, but I just think it's not even worth hanging on to. It's just unless they make more crazy ramp, which they probably will. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
it's too bad because I it's nice to see new. I like to see these decks evolve in Wild, and this certainly was an evolution. And now we're going to go back to Oaken, maybe
Mhm.
like the Fungal Fortunes, and that wasn't good enough before. So the Druids you're going to see on ladder, aggro Druid aside, cough cough. I think Mali's probably going to be the most common.
Yeah, I see a
Especially
lot of Mali.
Priest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mali is very common. It's still running KT, which surprises me that no one's really tried to switch to Ysail or Ysail or whatever, however it's said.
Nah, some people
I
are.
only
but-
ever see KT in that deck, but
I think it's because the the cost it kind of lines up with Melon a little bit, maybe easier, but
it makes
have to
sense.
Die hard and wild.
You can't run Saf with it. You have to run Germination, but yeah.
And Sath just makes the deck easy to play. I mean, not that it's an easy deck to play, but it clicks. You know, you get 3 Mallies. It's you know, you don't want to dilute that, but I mean, I think that there's certainly there are some players who have been experimenting with Ysail in different contexts, like Slate, and there's a lot of potential there. I agree with you, and I think that one of the things about Wild is that there are not so many innovators, and so a lot of things go unexplored. And I know we're not there yet, but that's why I'm really excited to talk about your deck, because that is, you know, a cool innovation that I think is on the precipice of becoming a thing that might just be what we need to shake up this meta.
I agree. Well, and that's I think you have a point there as well, about innovation that we don't. Frankly, we don't see a whole lot of it in Wild. I mean, there's a handful of big names who will make a deck, and then everyone else plays those decks, right? I mean, and I think that, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think that there is a lot of untapped potential with other things that just haven't been explored yet. I mean, the card pool in Wild is so gigantic that there's got to be a lot of things just hanging out that we haven't hit on yet. So, yeah,
I feel pretty strongly about that. I feel like the lack of experimentation has led to a lot of complacency with the decks we play.
Mm-hmm.
The decks people play. Like, I'll preface. I don't want to. Sorry if you like this deck, but like, I don't think even Shaman should still be played as much as it is. Like, it's just like that deck feels like it should have been phased out of the meta. And like decks similar to that, it's just like certain decks don't feel good to play. They don't feel like they draw. Like, you feel like you need certain draws, but people still just jam them over and over because it's like been a thing for so long, and no one's really willing to try the new stuff. That's why I love the explosions in the meta that happen. Like when Dark Glare came out and just exploded the meta for like until it got nerfed basically. That whole innovation, you know, starting with the discard version, that was the version I piloted a ton, and then they switched over to the more spell-oriented version with the pen flingers. That was the most genius thing I'd ever seen. It was crazy. Pen flingers in that deck went wild, literally. So like, yeah, I think experimentation needs to be like jumped into a lot more, but it's also hard because collections are so limited still, and like, you know, a lot of the cards, like for, we'll talk about it later, but with my deck, like Nosdormu, not everyone has that card. The 4-mana Nosdormu, not everyone has that card. So it's like, and not everyone wants to put in a bunch of dust into cards that may or may not be great.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a weird line walk.
Do you think this is an issue more on people who have bigger collections to try things out? Like, we're always going to get fed top tier decks. Like, that's not an issue to find. We can find these lists anywhere. But do you think people who have bigger collections should just take more time to try different things out because we know we can climb anyway?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's more, I mean, like, if it, I'm not saying it's something that has to change because it's entirely up to, you know, the individuals who play the decks, what they want to do with them. But if it were something that were to change, I think it would have to come from the top and it'd have to bleed down. Just with like, like the big streamers and stuff, just playing different things and like not just jamming tier 1 decks, just to see what there is. And that's why I think stuff like the THL series for Wild is incredible. Like, competitive format for Wild is really good for the like growth of the format because it allows for experimentation and like finding what beats what so well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how I stumbled upon this Paladin list, is because it's just like the priest counter. But like, it's like finding stuff that fits certain metas that like, and I think that's something that's really cool about Wild too. I got on a tangent with this, but it's like
so I get to talk to him.
Yeah, the way like pocket metas work in Wild is like once you get to like, I'd say it starts around Diamond 5. It feels like when you start hitting like really big pockets of like similar players or like even the same players, just over and over. So you can kind of like start building your deck a little more towards what you're facing and stuff like that. Like teching for that pocket meta and finding what's good like in very, very, very specific matchups is something that's really cool in Wild. That it's just more open to do in there than it is in Standard because there's just more cards, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I've been trying to experiment a lot with stuff. I've had 2 good results. One was the Dark Glare, and one has been this Murloc Paladin. But I think there is still a lot of stuff that can be found to be toyed with and stuff.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm not saying there's a ton of. I don't know if there's any hidden tier 1 decks that no one's found, but there's definitely some low tier 2, maybe mid tier 2 decks that people are just have glanced over. We haven't even thought of yet. There's some cool stuff out there to be toyed with.
I feel you. Hey, let's talk real quick about the other nerf before we jump back on that. To Tortolin Pilgrim. The deck, I think, or the card at least, is essentially dead now. So what it did before was to discover a copy of a spell in your deck and cast a copy, or discover a copy of a spell in your deck and then cast it with random targets. And they changed it to just discover a spell in your deck and cast it. So it now pulls the spell from your deck, so you can't have unlimited potions anymore or unlimited ice blocks or whatever the various choices were. And I think this essentially just kills Turtle Mage. That being said, I saw Duin was running a like a Reno Nizoth variant, and I think that this could still be okay because you would run.
It still works in Reno.
I think so because you run Pocket Galaxy or you run.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're just trying to get Pocket Galaxy out, so it certainly is still has its use in Reno. But yeah, I killed the Turtle Mage archetype, much to the joy of many and much to the chagrin of few.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Keith Numbers and I watched Concerned Mom play it quite a bit and experimented with it quite a bit myself over the last month to pretty good success. And but then again, it's one of the most interactive decks to play against, and so I'm not really sad to see it go, but I don't know.
I think it was a bit of an overreaction. Like, people hate it. So, I see Wildcard in chat. He hates it because he's a control player, and basically you're on a clock till turn 9. But how many other decks? Like, it's like Malagos Druid puts you on a clock till turn 9, turn 10, and that's cool. It's because people, it doesn't win outright. Mm-hmm. So, people will, they'll hang on for a 30-minute game hoping that the Turtle Mage doesn't sequence something correctly, and then they don't, and they lose, and they wasted an hour and a half of their time, or a bit of an exaggeration, 20 to 5 minutes of their time, and they feel bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, the thing is that Concerned Mom played a lot of Turtle Mage, and I watch a lot of Concerned Mom. It's one of my favorite streamers, and the deck just got totally dunked on by aggro. Like, it was the meme. The meme was like every time Mom would queue into an aggro druid, he would get so upset because, I mean, there's nothing he could do. Like, there were a couple of answers, and it was kind of like a binary yes-no. So I don't think the deck was as polarizing as Darkglare was, which could, out aggro and just blow out control. It had its weaknesses. It's just feels bad. And I think that's true in Standard even more so. yeah, some people had some finishes with it. I mean, there are some standard players that could take autocomplete probably to rank 1 because they're that good. It was just one of those things that people complained about, and they went on it was like a feel based on feeling maybe more than game balance, and I totally understand that. I mean, we all play games that feel bad and we don't like it, so I'm neutral on it. I mean, I think that but I do believe it was really a sentiment more than a real balance problem, whereas Dark Glare was a balance problem.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, I think kind of like the other one, this was truly this was done because it's a standard nerf as well, and a lot of times Blizzard would cite decks being. I mean, it's the ongoing joke, right? Is the deck fun and interactive? And Turtle Mage just wasn't, because you could essentially lock your opponent out, and it's not fun to sit there and just not be able to do anything every single turn. So. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. I'm a little bit
done.
sad.
It's no point crying over spilt milk.
Yeah.
Mom found his new jam, which is your deck 9 eyebrows. So I mean, life goes on. Hearthstone goes on. Hearthstone's about change and evolution, not about the same. So I mean,
Yeah, that's a good perspective. That's how I've always liked to look at the balance changes and stuff, because it's like, I'm not the devs. I can't control the devs. They're going to make changes that I'm not going to agree with, but I'm still going to have to play the game. So it's like, I just have to learn how to adapt to them.
Yeah,
exactly.
I wondered with the Turtle Mage, if they made it 9 mana, it's still dead, right? Not as dead, but it's like, that's really bad, right?
It would make it worse, but I think that the deck fundamentally would still function. I mean, it's you play Turtle, you get a potion back.
Yeah, I was just thinking,
and then it just puts another turn on the clock. It's like what they did with the oh gosh, the Mechathune Warlock when they nerfed.
is it Blood Bloom and?
No, the cycle one.
Yeah. I can't think of the name, but I know what you're
The
talking
deck's
about.
not viable anymore, not because the card got increased in cost, but because, well, just because the meta. But I think it would still be playable. But like again, I think that Turtle Mage was really an anti-control deck. It was kind of like bad Quest Mage. Quest Mage does kind of the same thing, but just when Quest Mage wins, the game's over decisively because you're getting 4 giants to the face, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's funny because people consider Quest Mage super solitary, like not like solitary, but like solitaire-like. And I think that that's I would agree that that's the reason the deck got nerfed. It kills you over 3, 4, 5 turns, if not more, rather than like the Quest Mage pops you in 2, the turn and then the other turn. The Malygos doesn't in 1, like. It's like 30-second combos instead of very long combos. I think the deck had a place, though. I'm sad it's gone, but obviously, like you said, can't change it. No use crying over spilled milk with it. So.
Yeah. Oh well. I think this next topic is. I'm interested to hear everyone's kind of hot take on this, though, especially all y'all here. This kind of, I think, as Blutrane said, it kind of slid under the radar a little bit, but there were some tweets going back and forth about the hidden MMR system. For those of you who aren't familiar, it's their matchmaking system. So how do we pair up against other players? How do we get 10 stars versus 11? And I have to keep in mind that this doesn't affect everybody necessarily, because depending on where you finish on ladder, right, you're guaranteed a certain star bonus depending on what your finish is. So if you finish at, at Diamond 5, you get 9, so you're guaranteed 9, right? If you finish at Legend, you're guaranteed 10. But depending on your win rate, how high your MMR is, you could get increased stars. And so it's that coveted 11-star bonus that if you do good enough, quote unquote, that you get the 11-star bonus, and it makes it, I don't want to say easier to get to Legend because you're going against more skilled players, presumably, but that you can hit Legend with a 40-45% win rate because you're getting 2 stars for every win instead of 1. Anyway,
so this kind of sticks in my.
Yeah, I put the tweets up on the screen. The first three are from Ixar, and then you've got your Concerned Mom hot take at the bottom, which I think is pretty funny.
So we talked about this at length. I think this really affects people that are gunning for the 10 or 11 stars, and I really don't like how this was characterized. And I'll kind of just maybe I'll read the tweet, and I'll try to be brief because I'm trying to be conscious of time. But I do want to parse it because I think it'll help kind of explain where I disagree, and then I'd be interested in hearing everyone else.
Yeah, let's read the tweets anyways. I often forget that the bulk of the people who are encountering the show are listening to the audio version of it, not watching the live or the video version. And so for things that are appearing on the screen, it's good to read them. So if I may, I'll sure. Do you want me to do it? I know your eyes got some.
I have them in super jumbo writing in front of me. I am prepared, but I appreciate it. So there was a person who tweeted about his finish and how he enters in Legend playing with a subpar win rate super high, and what's going on, because there's no transparency, and we talked about this the last time I was here. Ixar writes, in my experience, displaying true MMR usually results in more confusion than clarity. There are all kinds of complex things that happen to your MMR, like normalization, or vastly different end-of-game rating changes due to opponents with high or low variance. Alright, so I can take this at face value. We don't understand the MMR system that uses normalization, other statistical concepts that people aren't familiar with. Alright, I'll call this one a spade, even though this still irks me. He then follows, MMR naturally hits a plateau fairly quickly, and then rarely changes ever again. This is true for low-end, average, or high-end players. Improvement can happen, but rarely is the improvement significantly different than the players improving around you. I completely disagree with this, and I find this actually kind of insulting. Basically, what he's saying is...
It's way insulting.
He's basically saying, hey, buddy, if you suck at Hearthstone, you're going to suck for life. You're never going to get any better. Or if you do get better, it's just going to be a product of normalization across the player base. Now, I take issue with this, not only from my own experience, but for all the players that I know that I came up with, not being super talented myself or high legend. I've seen everyone improve significantly, and not just because they made the ladder system easier. They did. But, if I started at a 10 star and now I'm pretty consistently 11, and there are many like that as well. And so this statement is a glib response and a cop-out. And then finally, in the third tweet, the short answer is it would be the easiest thing to display or be transparent about the MMR, but we don't because it's confusing to understand and discouraging to watch. So my statement is the arbitrariness of the assignment of 10 versus 11 stars versus where you enter in Legend, that's discouraging. Not knowing if I'm going to get 10, a lot of people lost their 11 stars that didn't play any worse this month than they did previously. Damringer is a fine player that was amongst them. Burnt of all people. So that's discouraging. And if we understood what it was that would allow us to achieve that, yeah, it kind of introduces a new anxiety. But what's better? The anxiety of not knowing, or at least understanding what it is that one has to do to accomplish it? Concerned Mom's hot take is they don't want to show it because it's terrible. And I think that's a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but it does strike me why they just absolutely refuse to do this. And so if they do, my ask would be just eliminate 11 stars. Or give everyone 11 stars. But don't create this everything's super clear once you hit 9, and then after 9 it goes into this nebulous vacuum, and it drives me absolutely crazy. I have bad ladder anxiety. This contributes to my ladder anxiety. I hope that they reconsider their position on this.
It's interesting, and I will say, I like having the benchmarks, right? That I know that if I hit D5, I'm guaranteed a 9. If I hit Legend, I'm guaranteed a 10. so I can count on that. But then it's difficult for me. Like, I've got time constraint issues. Like, how far do I really want to push? And so last month I pushed a little bit. I think I topped out around 600 Legend, and just didn't. I've been playing Warcraft 3 and playing some other games, and didn't want to push farther than that. But it's interesting, right?
Oh, but Nate, you don't have to push, because you're never going to get any better.
Apparently not. No, I mean, that's what they're saying, right? But then it's interesting to watch all these folks this month specifically who were 11 stars and now have dropped to 10. So one of my friends, Nightwing, ended the season at rank 200 Legend, and they dropped him down to 10 stars.
Wow, that's
I just-
first time 11-star player.
No, in Wild. But I just talked to him this morning, and
I
he
was
said,
like
That's
250 and I got 11 stars or something. No, I was like 146 this month. Okay.
yeah, but
So
I don't.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more information in the thread.
I like what Tu said with like having like a specific, like if you are top 1000 in standard or top 500 in wild, you would get 11 stars. But the fact that it's like this ambiguous, like, oh man, I hope my MMR is good enough before the season resets to hope that you can rush for day one. Because if you're 10 stars, you're not going to get day one before anyone with 11 stars. Or like someone with 11 stars will likely beat you on the day one legend rush.
Agreed.
Just because the 11 star, what you said about it, like with like the 40% win rates and like higher, like you can have a pretty low win rate and still get legend. That's like the fact that is not a transparent thing, that's just like an ambiguous, like, well, maybe you get it this month kind of thing is like really unfortunate. And the second tweet, I feel strongly about too.
Yeah, this didn't get a lot of visibility. I did link the entire thread. They go into more detail. It builds up over time. There's resistances, etc. This is how my friend Nug, who plays on and off, will like get to bronze 6 and then be 11 stars because he's accumulated this over time. But like again, we don't know how it works. And I just, as someone that I clawed my way to 11 stars in April, not in April, in May, and then I lost it in June. It was the most defeating, crushing.
Oh god,
feeling ever.
I remember talking about it, and it's I think for those of us that have any sort of ladder anxiety to begin with, this makes it worse. If we knew what the line in the sand was, at least we would know what we had to hit versus what we didn't. The other thing. Yes. I think that is very weird to me is like I for the last few months, like I would hit legend within the first 2 weeks of the month, and I would hit legend somewhere around 500, 600, 800, somewhere in there, and then I'd have people hit after me, dropping in at like rank 50 legend. Like, what the heck is that? I don't understand how does that, and I know it's based on this magical mystery MMR system.
The idea, not that I
it's
fully
that I
understand it.
It's that I suck and I'm never going to get better.
No,
and that they're really good.
So it's like if you play like a random Hearthstone 10-star guy and win, it counts for a lot less than when I beat Memnarch. And the thing
I agree
is
with
that
you, but that feels really crappy, though. I will say.
You know what it reminds me of? When I was a kid, I used to run, and there was a race. I was very young, and I remember the gym teacher put all the fast runners in the first line of the track, and I very naively, I think I was less than 10 years old. I asked her, "Why do you put the fast runners in the front? They're just gonna take off and no one's ever going to catch up to them." And she kind of looked at me and she's like, yeah, there's no justice, right? The good players are given the leg up, and the bad players, excuse me, and now I'm falling into the same trope, the players who are maybe not as talented as the ones at the front of the pack have to just work that much harder. It's the same reason how, like, I'll pick on Memnarch here. He'll hit legend day 1 or 2, he'll hit top 5, he'll decay a little bit, but he'll still be top 10, top 15 by the end. You hit legend, Nate, you'll hit 400. You open the game up a week later, you're like at 1800. It's like quicksand, right? I mean, it's just bad. It feels bad. You want to talk about feeling bad? That's what feels bad.
And the other thing is you win a game. Last month it wasn't as bad, but the previous month I'm sitting in Legend. I came in at 600, open it up the next morning. I'm at 900. Like, holy crap, overnight. And then I didn't even want to play because if I won a match, I would gain 10. If I lost a match, I'd lose 60. Like, what the heck is that? Like, I have to have some insane win rate to progress at all?
Well, you have to keep an insane win rate for like 150, 200 games to get your MMR better. Yeah. I have two anecdotes, one from this month and one from like 3 or 4 months ago. I played a lot of Alunith OTK Mage with Mazari. Terrible deck. Awful deck. I was like literally like, I would not lose ranks from losing games at the bottom of ladder because I'm pretty sure I was the last one in the wild. And then the next month when I got to Legend, I was playing like a serious deck. But when I got to Legend, I entered at the bottom. And then every win, I would get maybe 1 point. There were games where I'd win at like, like rank 400 something in like the second week of the month. And I'd literally lose rank still. And it took me actually like nearly 300 games between Odd Paladin and Murloc, like aggro Murloc Paladin, at like a roughly 60% win rate to get my MMR to 11 stars.
Wait, how many?
Not like 300 games. It was, if you like, I can check my stats. I have so many games on that Murloc Paladin with a really good win rate, and my MMR was still just so bad for so long. And the other thing, it's still bad because when I got to Legend this month, I got Legend at like 5 a.m. I was the first one in it. And then I decayed to about 30. I was like near bottom half. It's just like everyone who's getting in Legend has higher MMR, so I just tank even though I was like the first one there. Like I tank super hard. And it's just like, I wish there was something that made me like make sense of this. It's not instead of just like, that's how it is. So
yeah, I agree. It's very confusing. I mean, at the same time, like I think I'm a little bit resigned at this point I'm a 10-star gamer. And then again, if we look at the percentages, right? I mean, I think even then, like the four of us, okay, if we're hitting Legend every month, we're still in the top, like, what is it, 1-2% of players? And so let alone, I don't like whoever's listening to this, like, does it feel even worse if you are not hitting that? I remember talking to my friend Armorn from the show, who initially, he I think hits Dad Legend every month, right? Or that's the goal. I want to hit Diamond 5. And I think that's an achievable goal for a lot of people, and that was his goal. And the first time he did it, he got 10 stars, and then the next month he I think was just a little bit shy of it or something, and they dropped him down to, I don't know, was it 8 or 9 or whatever it was, and it's like, oh, it just makes it that much harder. And so I think if it's like we're complaining about it and we're like the 1%, that it's got to be even worse for everybody else, right?
I mean, I just want, I don't know what I want. I think that
I want to know what cements my rank, though. Like,
yeah, like I want transparency, but I also want a system where I don't have to play
300 games,
fix my MMR to where I'm gaining like gaining 10, losing 10. Instead of gaining 5 and losing 40, like you said. It's like, come on, give me something or fix it. I don't know, but fixing it. You're never going to make everyone happy with the system.
Well, that's true. I think the hardest part is just not knowing. Like, I don't know how it works.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the anxiety, I think, can stem from. I'm not saying it's like the exact source, but that can be a big source of anxiety. Is it's like, I don't know what I can do to change this. So, like, I don't want to. You can just not do anything because it's like I don't want to mess it up even further.
Yeah.
Make this a worse situation for my.
So what you have in the end is a lot of people camping.
Yeah.
At high ranks. I mean, I did it. I hit last month. I hit 170, and I just stopped playing. And over the course of the month, I kind of gradually fell down to about 200. And then about 4 days before reset, I did a push. Rocketed up to 120, and I just sat there and I did decay because no one above me was queuing.
That's crazy though, because
like what no one has any incentive to queue unless you're like Corbett or like one of the top dogs that want a top 10 or have like a really nice finish. You get when you're sitting near 100 or slightly north of it, that you got the prize, the 11-star prize. Why gamble losing it? And so I think that I think I have an optimism that the system will be fine tuned. I think that maybe they're a little bit defensive of maybe how the question was asked in the thread. And this was kind of a small audience. This wasn't really kind of broadly. I'm kind of surprised that it didn't kind of catch on further, but I think that kind of is a testament to how narrow of a group this impacts. But I believe that they'll adjust it over time. I mean, remember how at first you would queue into like diamond players constantly, and now they kind of changed that. And queue times are a big problem as well. And I think that there's definitely things that I have hope they'll take a similar approach to this that they did with the hero portraits. Listen to the feedback, see what can be done, see if there's any indicator. I mean, pretty much now I know if I'm in the 11-star range because I know all the 11-star players. So if I start queuing into names that I recognize, I feel pretty safe. That's a pretty crummy way of getting that reassurance, right?
Yeah.
I also think that the issue with like what you said about players not wanting to queue because they don't want to just like screw up their 11-star bonus, that adds into the thing that I was talking about earlier with lack of experimentation. It's simply so like when I played that Alunith Mazari mage, like I knew it wasn't good, but it's like there was a chance it was in the Dark Glare meta. There was a chance that it just killed Dark Glare because it got so many cheap spells out, and it actually did a lot of the time, but it lost everything else. But like I was trying to experiment to find something that would work, and I got punished for 3 months with my MMR. Like that's not fun. I wasn't.
I used to be a rank 5 floor memer. It costs nothing to sit at the rank 5 floor for a week or whatever, or screw around. But now they did confirm in this thread that non-legend MMR and legend MMR are the same thing. So if you sit at Diamond 5 for a week and like mess about, you're gonna enter in legend real low. So EC the Lion, who frequents Corbett and Get Meowth's streams, a friend of mine, he kind of always pokes fun at me because he's like, what happened to you? You used to play cool stuff and experiment and have fun, and now you're like just full on degen. I'm like, yeah, I am what the system has made me. And the system says if I play in ranked, then I'm going to get punished. I play more games in casual now than I do in ranked because at least in casual it has its own MMR system. I could do whatever I want. If I want to play Shutterwalk, I could do it. But I used to do it in ranked, and but casual's kind of, anyways, it's not a good place to expect. Like if you want to build a great deck like the one you built, you're never going to get that like same level of refined play in casual that you will in ranked. So there's it's
I'll tell you,
it hurts the revolving door.
It does, and I find it it's a little bit frustrating. I don't know if that's the right word, but like,
I like the word.
I was personally, I was so jealous of you last week that like you could camp at like 180, and not drop below 200. And I'm sitting here pushing every night, and it got myself down to 600. And I open it up the next morning, I'm at 900. Like, what the hell? Like, you drop so quick, and then I go to work, and I get home from work, and now I'm at 1300, and then I got to grind for 3 more hours to get back down to 800 again. And it's like, oh my god!
Don't go to work.
That's it.
Go blind, and then you can take a month off.
Then I won't be able to craft gold cards anymore. I need to see.
But in all seriousness, I completely agree, and I don't. But then it's like when you get to the top of the mountain, or relative to where you are, like I find I fly way too close to the sun than I have any business. Your entire game experience is now, do I play? Do I not play? Do I have to play to maintain it? Will I get it? Will I not get it? And I mean,
yeah, no, I've got enough anxiety in my life without that. I could do without, I think. And at the end of the day, honestly, I'm okay being 10 stars. I think me and Mike have come to grips with that.
If I can jump in, because
please do.
I wanted to let you guys carry, because I don't have the 11-star experience, so I wanted to hear more about it. But the more I hear, the more, not that I ever get anxiety, but the more of my angst, it's going away, because I kind of feel good about the position I'm in, knowing that I'm at 10-star. I could try to bust my rump to try to get higher, but by reading his tweet, it's probably not going to happen. the crowd that I do have are a lot of players that are either not way below me, but they don't get to Diamond. They don't get to Diamond 10. And then a lot of them do. But then the ones who do watch me who are higher, they'll come in and out, like Blutrane or, Meowth, Memnarch, Slizzle. But I feel good being in my spot because I don't want to like have that anxiety of, do I need to play to keep my rank? Should I
But I have
not
a
play
big
to keep
problem
my
with
rank?
what you just said. You like, fine, if you're happy with where you are, that's totally okay. But to just resign yourself to say that like my fate is sealed, the die is cast, that's awful. I mean, you rewind a year ago, I struggled to hit, the rank 5 floor every month, and when I hit Legend for the first time this past April, I thought it was just gonna be like a one-time thing, like cool, I did it, I could say I did it, and now, I get annoyed if I don't hit it by day 2. There's always it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and I agree with Nine Eyebrows. The second tweet out of the 3.
Yeah, it dunks you. It really just dunks you. If you have like confidence issues, or not confidence issues, but like if you don't think too highly of something in the game, read that tweet, that sucks. That's just not that phrasing is awful to me. And I also think that sentiment is so wrong. Obviously, I don't have to back it up, but like to say that a player can't get better faster than the people around them is so unbelievably like out there to me.
I worked with
that's what?
I'm not the best player in the world. I, middling, maybe a little bit above average, but like, Matt's son is kind of like someone that was like you, Mike. He'd hit Legend, but he kind of like wouldn't be able to break out. And we talked about the meta. We picked some decks. He really, we'd co-opt, but he really grinded hard, and he got the 11 stars. And so, I mean, I'm super happy for him, but like, it's possible. This is just it's just not. Yeah.
To say improvement's not possible is just so mean. It's like, and that's wrong. Like, play 10 games on a deck, go over all the replays with someone who's like you'd consider better than you, and you will improve. I think, like without I think replays and stuff like that, they improve you faster than if you're doing replays and the people around you aren't doing replays. You are gonna improve faster than them. Like if you're doing it well, I should say. You can't just like watch them and be like, I did everything right, then play your next game. Like analyze your mistakes and stuff. You can get better. It's like the fact that they're sending out the sentiment that you can't get better is so.
I suspect it was, and in defense of XR, you probably didn't choose the best wording, but
and I don't think that's what you meant. I think it was just bad phrasing.
Yeah, you have to be careful about these things. But I mean, I think that your experience is your own, Mike. But I mean, I wouldn't handicap yourself because you feel that it's been tied. I mean, I think that we all improve, and I mean, I believe if you really wanted to do it, you would make it happen.
You're right about that. You're definitely right, because before this new system came in, it took me a while to actually get to like Dad Legend. But then once I started getting it, I found myself flying up to Dad Legend very easily. And then the new mountain was, Legend. And then once I got there, start flying to Legend. But now I was having an issue of, I don't come in as early as you guys, but like when I come into Legend, it's like 200, 237, 250. But then my decay, if I take a night off or 2 days off, I decay it's like 600.
So one thing to keep in mind is that time doesn't matter. So I'll give you an example. Otters raced EU Legend. Otters is an amazing player, friend, good guy. He hit rank 9 on EU with Quest Mage. He did it within a few hours of the reset. Good positioning. I did it yesterday, so on EU day 2. It was technically the first, but because they're a day behind. Mm-hmm. I entered in at, what was it, 30 something? I don't remember, 32, 39. Now, if you look at the leaderboard, we're both sitting like around 50 or 60 right next to each other. So when you come in high early, because it's all MMR based, all the other players that are better than you will start coming in ahead of you, and it pushes you down. So the decay normalizes. Again, these are things that I've observed empirically. But there is some truth to it. So like if you enter in, like I entered in middle of the month on EU, last month I was like 100, you're gonna decay, and the rate of decay, to Nate's point earlier, is so Byzantine. How fast do you decay? Like, how does that work? And that's where the opacity, that's another area that drives one crazy, because he entered in at 9, but and that's why when they reteat the otters, legend 9 quest mage day 1. Well, is it really legend 9? Maybe it's more like legend 350. We just don't know. That kind of also disproportionately what you were saying, Nine Eyebrows, really the influencing kind of gets really skewed, and Corbett hit rank 2 legend with Reno Hunter, and Corbett could auto complete to rank 1 legend probably, but is that people are going to see that and then they're going to struggle with it because it's it's probably decent but not top tier, and it kind of creates this whole churn.
Well, there's a good point there, because a lot of it, when you hit a point in, this community where you become an influencer, right? And then there's also that magical, well, if I land somewhere underneath 500 legend, then Neon is going to retweet me, and then I've made it, and then right, I see you smiling over there. It's the truth.
Neon follow yesterday, that was sick. I was so excited about that. That's crazy,
right? I've been there too.
Hey, same here. It's a cool feeling. I didn't know about it until it happened. I was like, "Oh, he does this? Oh, snap!"
Yeah, it's just it's like a validation feeling in a sense. It's
is.
The I've been noticed for what I've done in the game. That's cool.
Yeah, but like you're saying, part of it is very arbitrary too, where especially seeing these day 1, day 2 posts where okay, cool, someone hit rank 9 legend, yeah, but that's because there were only other 8 people in legend. Or once I'm in legend and there's 50 people there, no matter what deck I play, I'm going to be top 50 legend with this deck because there's no one else in legend. And if I now say, we joke all the time that Reno Jackson will do this on purpose. He'll play 4 games, win 3 out of the 4, and say, oh look, I've got my 75% win rate deck in top legend. And it's well, yeah, but you're not seeing the whole picture. And I think, he does it as a joke, but
but it is people who don't understand it as a joke, it's a problem, because it's they'll see the list, take the win rate. You don't understand the joke, you don't understand stats well, which is just the thing, because stats are very misleading. They're incredibly misleading in Hearthstone, I think. And I'm more on the stats are kind of not too good to go off of. Aside, I think I'm a little too strong on that side. I'm not a huge stats person in Hearthstone, but they're misleading because they do this thing. And this is a lot of the reason why. I can put in a Luneth and then put in a few Murlocs and auto-complete a deck, play until I win a game, and screenshot a win, screenshot it, tweet it, rank 5 legend wild with Murloc Mage. And then people, that's clickbait, and it works. And
it does work. That's the thing.
It's really unfortunate.
But I'll tell you, there's something to it as well, because I think Blutrane and I have had this conversation many times, is that we'll play a deck, hit legend with it with some absurd win rate, you post the deck, people start using it, and by that time, I've already moved on to a different deck. And I don't know, at some point, if you I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with it. It's just like you said, I think Blutrane, you're muted. But it limits innovation, because people are trying the decks that the quote unquote good people are using, right? And even then, I don't know. I'm depressed now.
It's an interesting dynamic is all. I think that if there was more transparency, it would lend itself to more experimentation, because you would know your limits, and it would also really separate the bait and the memes from legitimate areas of interest. But I I could talk about this for hours, but
Yeah.
being respectful of time. If Nate, we need to move on.
We should.
That's
We
totally
should.
fine.
Let me ask one kind of final wrap up question though. If there was an imaginary line in the sand, say it's 500 legend, so we get these like you can't lose stars at this rank type of thing. If there was a line like that said, okay, I hit D5, I'm guaranteed 9. I hit legend, I'm guaranteed 10. If I hit 500, I'm guaranteed 11. Right? Or maybe you have to end the season 500 or
What about
lower.
What about on the leaderboard?
Huh.
Make it real
or
exclusive.
whatever it is, like at
Top
least
200.
then, if you wanted to experiment, like like Blutrane was saying, like what your limit is. Like I can meme around, or I can play my favorite deck, and I don't really care if I lose ranks. But if I start getting too close to that border, then okay, well maybe I'll switch it up. But like when you just flat out don't even know what the line is, so there's this line in the sand, and if you cross it, you lose your bonus, but you can't see what the line is. So then we just all get paranoid. I mean, that's kind of what I see. And so I'm a little bit resigned to my 10 stars at some point, but I still want to strive to improve, right?
Yeah, of course.
So
play the game for fun, play the game to improve. I like what you said about the I think exclusive, but also not like finish. I like if you can get, say, man, I don't know how they do it because the number of players is constantly changing within like Legend and stuff, obviously. But like I like the idea of if you hit top 200 or something like that, top whatever percentage, top arbitrary percentage, at a point in the season you should get the 11 star. And then if you like play, you experiment with a bad deck and you brick with it, it's a bad deck. You're not turbo punished for trying something new. You showed that you can get the rank, and then you experimented, and you're not punished for it. Whereas now it's like, I think that would be a lot cooler.
Before we switch, for me, I want to say it here on the podcast because where else could I? I'm cool with D5 being 9, getting Legend 10. Since the line in the sand is invisible, I'm saying two different things here at once. A way for Blizzard to take the pressure off of them and to bounce it elsewhere and keep people happy, and then the fire's off of them. If they would just say, and I'm just throwing this out there, that 11x is for people who finish top 200 or on leaderboard, at least when you say that, now everybody knows what they need to get get that 11x. For me, the last thing I'll say, the problem with Blizzard is it's weird how they want to have this issue of people being confused. Because when I look at this third tweet, when Ixar says the short answer is to display it, but the other half is like talking about it's discouraging to watch. I don't think it's fair for someone else to tell me what they think I'd feel. I'd rather you just tell me what the finish line is, what the line in the sand is, and let everybody have at it. I'd rather there be 200 people with this exclusive 11x than a random number of who knows.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think that it had to, like, so this month I'm gonna take these things off the screen and put up this thing from Neon. Do you think that this month, so a whole bunch of people lost their 11 stars this month, regardless of their finish place, which was kind of strange. But so you look at this tweet from Neon. It's compared to August, so last month. No, I'm sorry. Well, we're in October now. So, but anyhow,
September.
It's compared to August. Fewer players reached Legend. This is in the month of September. 23 fewer % players reached Legend in Wild. And so does that have anything to do with why they lost? I guess the answer is we can only
speculate. We can only speculate, but I believe yes. I believe the 11-star distribution is based on a percentage of the Legend player base. What am I basing this on? But,
pure speculation.
For those who are listening, I just threw up my arms and made a scrunchy face, but I mean, I think so.
Wow.
And I mean, we don't know, but we can only speculate. But I
Yeah.
do believe that it is based on that. It's also, remember, for those that finished lower and still kept it, it accumulates over time as well. So it's not just, there's no arbitrary cutoff, but by and large, what happens is as the pool of players shrinks, the bar gets, I guess, raised, right? Because the if you think of it as a scale, right, a vertical scale, the ceiling stays the same, but the floor raises. And then all of the criteria that factor into it, determines whether you're on the top end or the bottom. And we don't know what that criteria is, which is what spawned this 40-minute conversation that I think everyone's quite passionate about. I hope it was interesting for everyone.
Well, I mean, I hope so too.
A lot.
I worry a little bit that we're alienating people because I truly don't know like the demographic of our audience, what people normally hit. I'm not sure. And so, if this topic doesn't interest you or affect you, I apologize. But I think, and it's interesting for us because I know you guys pretty well, and I think we've come up together over the past 3, 4, 5 years, however long we've been playing, and I think at some point, like, we were all scrubs, and I remember being in the same place as you guys were. How do I hit legend? Am I ever gonna do it? Oh, I finally did it. Am I ever gonna do it again? Maybe, probably not. It's so much work, and to the point now where it's like, okay, well, I'm hitting it in the first week every month. And it's, we've come a long way. And I think I will kind of maybe end this on the high note that's what gives me hope, at least a little bit, where I see those tweets and it's frustrating because I've seen myself and you guys as well improve over the past handful of years as a player, that we are all so much better than we used to be. And so at least if the MMR system is cumulative, like, that is reason to keep striving to improve, that hopefully gradually over time, as long as I continue to improve as a player, then that gradually my MMR will improve as well. Anyways,
everyone has the potential for self-improvement, I think, is the moral of the story.
That's true.
Transparency is a good thing, not a bad thing. And those are really, I guess, the two salient points that I wanted to make that I probably could have summarized a long time ago.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some Murlocs. So.
Yeah, lighten the mood a little bit. Talk about some awesomeness.
Somebody make a Murloc noise.
You're the master at that.
Hold on. Maha. That was like. Okay. I can do it better. Wait until I hear it in the co-op, then I can mimic it.
All right. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got the ear for that.
I
You'll
believe.
Hear too.
So we, yes, one thing. God, we forgot to do this in the interview portion, but so Nine Eyebrows makes parody songs. Did you guys know that? And I believe most of them are League of Legends based, right? But
I've got 2 League ones, and I am generally good at writing a verse or 2 from a song. If I could do a compilation, I could write a great one. But it's writing a whole song's hard.
Writing a whole song, oh my god! I'm not sure how familiar you are with the history of the show, but it was never my intention or my desire to do parody songs at the end of each show. This was Craig's idea, who had started this crazy thing and was able to pull these parody songs out of nowhere, week after week after week. And then real life hit and priorities shifted and he stopped doing the show. But that's one of the things that kind of we became known for. And it was like, I don't want to stop doing it. That's kind of our gimmick. And so we've kept doing it now for 29 weeks in a row. And dude, writing songs is hard. Yeah. And like you said,
it's really fun. When you hit a line that fits perfectly with the flow of the song, it's so funny. I'm so proud of what I did with my song. It's so funny, I think. I I don't know. If you need a ghostwriter, you know where to contact me.
Oh, now we're talking.
It could be a ghostwriter. I don't know.
We
But yeah, no, this stuff is really fun for me.
I agree with you though.
I'm a huge music guy. Like the music and video games are my two
I love it.
So
We'll have to. Well, I'll be honest. We have weeks where we pull a song out of nowhere and we're like not super proud of it, but like at least we did one. And then we've got some weeks where we pulled out a song and we're like, man, that was so good. That was so good. Like we're proud of it. And there's some fun ones. God, good times. So the plan is to keep going as long as we can keep going. Ideas. We got ideas for days. It's just a matter of finding the the inspiration and the right song to do it. So
yeah, because picking a song is another beast too, right? Something popular but not too,
Well, you want it to be recognizable. Yeah, exactly. I always worry. Well, I'll pick some old '80s song and nobody knows what it is. But
yeah, I'm gonna pick some weird emo song and everyone's gonna be like, why? That kind of thing.
I thought about that, but hey, it might be cool to pick songs people might not know because we could make a song so good where it's like catchy, could be a hit.
Hey, I think we've done a couple of those, the pretty catchy ones. So, anyways.
I sometimes do like an advanced listen. I'm always impressed. It's hard, and not only do you write them, you perform them as well, Nate. It's wild. I can't believe you've kept it up. It's a labor of love. It's a commitment. You guys put a lot of work into it.
You know what it is?
Something Blutrane just said real quick. Sorry, Blutrane just gave me a train of thought. If there are any singers out there, people who like to sing, I can write amazing lyrics. I just don't feel comfortable enough. I'm not Craig in Canada. That guy could write and sing. So if you guys, somebody who likes to sing, looking to get some exposure, send them our way.
Oh, heck yeah.
I am always open.
You guys want to be on a track or help us write a track? Oh, man. We take all the help we can get. This is not an ego thing. This is I'm a stubborn bastard and I refuse to break the tradition. It is difficult every week. And the last few weeks in particular, we've been struggling to come up with some fresh ideas, or we'll have great ideas, but like trying to write is hard sometimes. So
I'm not a good singer. I wish I could sing.
I feel the same way, and sometimes we just blast it out anyways.
Yeah, everyone can sing, right? That's what I've heard.
Singing that Neil Diamond song, man, I felt so self-conscious. It turned out okay. I mean,
I thought that was a great one. I liked it.
I appreciate that.
I listened to a lot of them on the website when I was writing mine to get some good ideas of how you guys kind of carried it.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Just reading the titles of some of them was just like, man, that is really funny. That is just really funny.
I appreciate it. There's some are definitely better than others, and inspiration hits at weird times. When I write one, oftentimes it's we'll try to take like the chorus and write that, and then you can work the song around it. And some songs are, lend themselves very easy to. They kind of write themselves, and then some songs are like, I don't know, it's hard,
pulling teeth,
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah,
but we've done I think Green Day now like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I saw that there was a brain stew. There was a
we did the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Yes, that was the one, and now today's.
But you know what? Green Day lend themselves very good to.
They're really songs. Yeah, I was gonna say like just musically they're just very like simple melody stuff. I'm a Green Day fan. Like I'm not knocking their music. I understand if you're not a Green Day fan, but they make really it's really easy to write over their stuff. I think.
Yeah.
As far as certain stuff is really hard. I thought hip hop was really really hard to try and write over.
It is very hard, and it depends on the artist too.
Yeah. Because it's all in cadence and flow and everything. It's a very complex thing. It's fun, though.
Mike and I keep talking about doing one with Renegade with Jay-Z and Eminem. And
my gosh.
Because
that song throws me back.
It's a great song. The lyrics are great. The beat is phenomenal. And trying to write that is so difficult.
Oh man, I'll look at that because that is. I used to love that song, man.
I still love that song.
I haven't thought about that in so long.
Hey Nate, I've been looking at to make some parody songs. Keep it easy. Some you guys remember this artist Will Smith?
Oh yeah.
Millennium came out
Oh
2000,
man,
about 20 years ago.
Welcome to Miami or
Yeah.
or Summertime. Okay. I'll date myself. This is back in. I'm older than all of you guys, probably right around there, maybe with some of you. But I remember when Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff released that first album way back when with what was it? I think Summertime was on it and some other songs. Like I would love to do some really old school hip hop stuff. That'd be fun. I think when Welcome to Miami and Men in Black came out, I think I was in high school. So
I was in 6th grade. Yeah.
Nine eyebrows. I'm old enough to be your dad. I'm sorry.
I'm like looking it up. I'm like, when did the first Men in Black come out?
95.
Dude, I don't even know if I was a concept at that time. Like I probably wasn't even like a thought in anyone's mind.
Yo, so the age difference here, it's like Nate could be my older brother and I could be Nine's older brother.
Yeah.
Okay, so Men in Black came out August of 97.
So 2 years before I did.
So in 97, I was a sophomore. In 97, I was a sophomore in high school. So
What's a sophomore? 10. That sounds like an American.
Oh, sorry, that's grade 10.
Sophomore is 10.
Yeah, I think we're the same. We're about the same.
I was born in 81. So
okay.
I just turned.
You got a little on me. Just a smidge.
I just turned 39. So yeah, I'm old. I'm sorry. I'm still young at heart. I don't feel old until like I look in the mirror and my hair is turning gray. I wake up and everything hurts, but I'm doing okay. I'm still hanging in there.
I took a selfie of myself getting the treatment for my eyes the other day at the hospital, and I'm kind of like laying back a little bit, and like my entire it looks like I'm completely gray. It was the worst picture ever. It's like not because I'm hooked up to this like beastly machine, like having like cyborg blood implanted in me, but because I went gray. That was my thought. Went completely to my vanity. Getting old sucks.
I'm 33, got a mean hairline, so I wear beanies. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say.
It happens to the best of us. You gotta enjoy that long hair while you got it.
Oh yeah, man! You look like
Definitely.
here. My goodness, with the long locks, luxurious.
Yeah, I have the blonde. I don't know. My lighting is like not too great in my room, but the blonde is fake. That's not real. Well, it's like dye. It is real, but it's not natural, is what I should say. But yeah, I was a buzz cut warrior in 8th grade, and then I started growing my hair out from there, and it's been like this since.
When it starts. Not saying it will happen, but if it does, you have the rest of your life to be a buzz cut warrior. So enjoy.
Honestly, no. The second I start losing hair, I'm just gonna get rid of it all. Like the second any hair starts to go, I'm getting rid of it all because I want to see what I look like bald, but I can't get rid of this hair because it's been here way too long.
Right.
Like it's just like I've grown this out for so long that it's like, oh my gosh, I can't risk it. I should have done it at the start of quarantine when I should have shaved my head then, so nobody would have seen me for all of it. And if it looked bad, I could have just grown it back out. That was
yeah.
That's what Jack did. He just took it all off. He did it on stream. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's good.
Yeah, his girlfriend did it.
We have a healthy range of ages here, I will say. So at least we have a common denominator, right? That's good. All right.
Shared interest defies all age barriers, genders, creeds, geographic locations, and all the things that divide us. So I think it's awesome.
Best I'm glad Murlocs could bring us together like that.
That's true. All right, that's pretty bad. Let's talk about this deck list here. So tonight we're talking about Anyfin Paladin. I'm gonna read the deck list real quick because some of our folks listen to the audio version as opposed to watching it on stream or on YouTube. So I'm going to read over the deck list real quick, and I will post it in the show notes as well, and in the Discord and everywhere else. So here's the deck list, and I believe you sent me an updated one before the show, and I think this is it. So let me know if anything. Okay.
I've been messing with it a bit, but I can talk about that. Like,
I'm sure there's some flex spots, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of flex, or a couple. Like,
Okay. So here's the current iteration of the deck list. 2 copies of Animated Broomstick, 1 Depth Charge, 2 Grimscale Oracles, 2 Righteous Protectors, 2 Bluegill Warriors, 2 Doomsayers, 2 Unstable Ghouls, 2 Wand Makers, 1 copy of Lord Barov, 2 Murloc War Leaders, 2 copies of Salhet's Pride, High Abyss Allura, Lorekeeper Polkelt, Nozdormu the Timeless. I never thought I would see this guy in a deck anywhere, so this is fun. Old Murkai, 2 copies of Prismatic Lens, 2 copies of Tip the Scales, and 2 copies of Anyfin Can Happen. 9 ran to the restroom real quick. So, oh my God, you are fast. I'm impressed at how quickly you use the restroom.
I have the master bedroom, so it is like literally 3 steps for me to go to my bathroom.
I was like, you don't have to use a cup. It's cool. We can wait for you.
No, I take the gamer strides. Trust me, I've got this you queue up and then you run to the bathroom, you run back, you do your mulligan. You know, it's like that's the system you work out. I've got it all figured out with this stuff.
I love it. We see people Labores doing push-ups on stream or whatever between sets, and your exercise between sets is running to the restroom. That's
sprinting. I had a system when I was playing TFT where I would fill a water in load screen and then I'd go to the bathroom after carousel and then I'd start playing. And it was every single game I did that. Crazy. It was like it was insane.
That's hilarious.
Okay,
so tell us about this deck. I mean, I don't know how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, but how do you play it? I don't think this is obvious from anybody. There's so much synergy here. I mean, give you can I give you my hot take real quick, like my first impression?
Yeah, sure.
So I played it this morning. There's huge high roll potential here, which is super fun when it happens. Mm-hmm. So when I look at this deck list, what I see is there's some early game early game control, if you will, because to stall until you can get out your bigger turn. So I've got my Depth Charge to clear the board. I've got my Righteous Protectors for anti-aggro. I've got my Doomsayers. Unstable Ghoul, I think, is a new addition.
Which I think is being phased out for Explosive Sheep thanks to Concerned Mom. I saw him using that on stream, and I think that's actually insane.
Okay.
That's so smart.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And
because then it gets tutored by the Pride, which I'll talk about a lot because I've had a lot of questions about that.
Okay. Yeah, I did have questions about that, and I had questions about Wand Maker too, although I think I understand it now.
Wand Makers for Abyss Allura.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I was never able to pull that one off. But essentially, the early game, you were kind of stalling. Ideally, you want a Prismatic Lens on 4, right? And
I'll let you keep going.
Well, this is my first impression. Yeah. I mean, well, what you want to do, I think, is high roll a Prismatic Lens into a Tip the Scales. But then again, I'm curious to hear your take because it would mess me up when I Prismatic Lens into another Prismatic Lens, when I Prismatic into an Anyfin on turn 4. That's not what I want to see. But yeah, tell us about this. How do you play it, and what are the synergies and all that stuff?
Okay, so I'm a lot better. I'll be a lot better at explaining stuff once we get necessarily more into stuff, like playing and that kind of thing. I'm better at leading with example.
Okay.
Or not with example, but explaining with visuals
while we're playing.
Theoretical.
Okay.
But I do have a lot I can say now. With it, first, the ideal turn 4 is not Prismatic. That's a bait. It's Nozdormu on 4 every time. I'm not even not every time.
I like that.
There's conditions to playing Nozdormu, and it's having Tip the Scales in your hand. But so yeah, the deck. The ideal goal of the deck is to hit a Tip the Scales before you draw any Murlocs. That is win condition number 1. Because if you do that, then you get 30 damage on the board and you kill them. Full health. If they have armor, man, that's unlucky. But then you have the Anyfins. But so the primary goal is to hit that tip on all the Murlocs. I guess the primary goal would be to survive, but you survive till you get the tip, and you can just start ripping boards with Anyfin. generally the way the deck plays out is high roll. But if you don't, the games where you don't high roll are a lot more interesting. I think they're a lot more fun. Where you don't just hit the prismatic on 3 with a coin and then just end the game on 4. Like the games where you have to play Polkelt and stuff like that, and you have the Salhet's Pride, and I can't. I'm really bad with pronunciation, so I'm probably going to break a lot of these. But
so what does Selhet's Pride do again? Was it draws your 1 cost, or what is it?
Yeah, so I took this from the standard Libram Paladin lists. They run it because it draws your brooms and your pen flingers. And we run brooms. We don't run pen flingers, but we run righteous protectors. We do run the Murlocs, which is the question that I get a lot about the deck, is that it's like, do you really want to draw the Murlocs? And I think yes. I think it's fine. Just because you have enough ways to bring them back and stuff. The pool with Anyfin is good enough. And running 2 Anyfins, I think, makes that better. I think if you were to do the 1 Anyfin build, you'd cut the prides. But that's another thing for discussion. But yeah, generally the prides are there because they draw 2 cards for 3 mana, and that's really good. Draw 2 of specific is really good. So the standout cards are obviously like the combo cards. Nozdormu has been like just like absurd in the deck. The reason I think Nozdormu is really good is because it takes a good hand from a specific deck to punish you. I think there's like most decks can't punish you that hard if you play Nozdormu followed by Tip the Scales. Especially if you go like Nozdormu 1 turn, Tip next, and then Anyfin the turn after. Mm-hmm. Like no deck can handle that really. Except if you play Nozdormu into a Mali Druid and they have their full combo in hand and they just kill you. That sucks, but it happens. You play it against a Quest Mage and they have 4 Giants and they kill you. It sucks, but it happens. Those are the 2 situations that it's happened to me. I was punished by a Druid once and punished by a Mage once, but every other time, like against Priest, what is a Priest going to do? Play Anduin? They can't kill you with that. Like, yes, they can. Like, in 2 turns, they can. So it's like the setup that Nozdormu lets you do for a 2 turn is so stupidly good, I think. Bruv, I call him, the 3-drop legendary, insane too. That's another highlight of the deck. With Broom, it's a very good interaction because you just, you can Broom it and then kill the whole board.
Yeah.
And I think that without that card, this deck wouldn't work. Like, that card is so core in a sense that it's like, it's such a phenomenal board reset.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the classic Anyfins would always run like an Equality Pyromancer or Equality Consecrate because you would need to stall until you could play Anyfin.
Mm-hmm. They even ran timeouts at one point, right?
Yeah.
There was a wild version that would run the timeouts because you just need to stall.
I played it before timeout was a card, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And yeah, Bruv does all that without actually being a spell, which is just absurd for this deck. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a really good minion. Pretty much everything else is like the flex spots are I think you cut the ghouls, both of them, for explosive sheeps.
Okay.
Either 1 explosive sheep or 2. If you did 1, you'd put in 2 depth charges. I really like depth charges. They've performed really, really well for me. Playing that on 1 against an aggro deck followed by a Doomsayer is just so stupid. They just like can't get on board for 2 turns, and then that just like those 2 turns of them doing nothing generally slow them down enough to where you can just win, regardless of your draw. It's really good what the clears do.
Full disclosure, I just threw a game of casual on with this deck because like it's super interesting. I just Nozdormu'd on 4, tipped on 5, and I'm gonna Anyfin on 6. I think this even Shaman is dead.
Yeah, like, what is the Shaman gonna do? They don't cheat enough. And that's like,
I mean, he played a Sea Giant, but
really.
He's trading with Nozdormu, right? I mean, I'm just gonna throw everything face. Yeah.
I think the really, really, really interesting decisions get made when you have minions on board and you have to play a tip.
Right.
I think that's when the deck gets really fun, is when you have to figure out, like, how am I maximizing these percentages? Because, man, I hate throwing out percentages because it's, like, so arbitrary. I think Priest is, like, near 90% matchup with this deck, I swear. I'd like to play a lot of game. I'd like to practice against someone who would play Reno Priest and see if like there's a way to play it from the Priest angle to beat the Paladin, because it feels like they literally can never kill you. You just are way too fast. Glacial Shard I've had in. I think that's a card that could fit in the flex spot. If you're facing a lot of rogues, that'd be good. I just saw that question asked in the chat. That would Glacial Shard is good for rogue metas. You'd run like 2 depth charges and a Glacial Shard instead of the ghouls. I think that's the need to do. But yeah. I mean, today with this deck, I've played 27 games so far, and I'm sitting at 21-6 with it, and that's going from
Holy
like 20
cow.
to 2. Yeah, I'm sitting at a 78 with it over almost 30 games. That's like, I don't know.
I'm looking for a deck to climb on NA. I don't like Paladin, but I mean, this is not your.
Do you have your
Paladin deck?
You have your 1K Paladin yet?
Yeah.
No, I mean, hey Blue, do you have it?
I don't even have gold. I don't even have 500. I think I've got like 37 wins on
This is
Paladin.
the perfect way of getting it. Do you have Serenoia?
I have all the heroes. Yes.
Okay, Serenoia works best with Murloc Paladin because it's like his voice lines are all really just like they're the same thing over and over. Just like all the Murloc voice lines. It's good synergy.
Yeah, how come we don't have a Murloc Paladin hero yet?
Oh my gosh, I dream.
Shaman got it because it's the better class.
Those are fighting words, but okay.
Man.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I've got a lot to say about this deck, and a lot more will come out as we kind of just get through it, because a lot of it's so situational that when I look at the list of 30, it's hard to kind of like come up with exactly like what the like really crazy stuff is with it.
So let me just interject super quick. So for the audio listeners, and hopefully you all know by now, but the way that we do this show is that we record this live on Twitch, then we release the video version on YouTube, we release the audio version on all the podcast apps, and then when the show ends, like the podcast is over, but then we do a co-op portion of the show where we actually play this deck on the ladder, and that's part of the fun of it. Like, we can talk about this deck, but like Nine Eyebrows is saying, it's hard to go over some of the interactions. Like, you don't think about it until you actually start playing it, or the matchups. And so
The ring.
yeah, I highly recommend, if you can, tune in after the show and watch the co-op, or tune into the YouTube and watch us play this, because we'll talk through the matchups, we'll talk through our decision making on the ladder.
Yeah.
And hey, big shout out to Dr. Evil. What's up, Taylor? It's good to see you.
If you want to learn how to play this deck, like if you're interested in this deck, if you're interested in crafting this deck, watch the co-op first. See how it plays out. There is like, this is something that I meant to say earlier, but I just kind of flew out of my mind. There's this really weird concept of like Murloc Zen that you have to reach when you just hit. You know, you draw 2 Anyfins and you draw 2 tips, and those don't res you. You just have to be okay with that. You just kind of like got to look at it and smile. You just laugh. You're like, that's epic, you know? Because you're playing this deck. It's such a high roll deck that you're just going to brick so much that you just kind of have to like smile and laugh when it happens, and then find your way out. Finding those percentages within those bricks is possible with this deck. But like, you have to get past the like point of like getting tilted by the bad draws, because it happens so much.
Yeah,
Every deck is like that, though.
Yeah.
Razna Priest, discard Warlock, every deck is in Wild is becoming more and more about that. I am curious, though, when you describe the Reno Priest matchup, you know, I guess what does the deck struggle with? It, if I'm to guess, it sounds like aggro is probably what you're struggling with if you're playing cards like Explosive Sheep. Is that correct?
I would say if you hit your pieces, it never struggles with aggro. But like if you whiff a Doomsayer on 2 against like discard Warlock, you just kind of die. Like, not guaranteed, but like it's really hard. You need to hit one of the like really good things. And yeah, Two's just said the thing that I mentioned earlier about the counter deck that I don't want to bring up because it's really easy to play. It's like phenomenally easy to play, and it's like actually just such a brutal counter that I think if I started seeing it on ladder, I'd stop playing my deck. Secret Mage.
Oh wow! I was
Secret
gonna
Mage?
say anything with devolve probably would be
Devolve,
problematic.
you can play around because you can trade into. You cannot play around Counterspell with this deck.
Yeah.
You just lose to it. You simply just lose to Counterspell. It's so frustrating.
But if
and
that's your
Ice
hard
Block,
counter, then you're in good shape because Secret Mage is just bad.
yeah,
There's no
Secret Mage is
reason-
like I have
Yeah,
a really
but-
strong opinion. Secret Mage and it's not good.
But Mike is the pro Secret Mage player here.
Well,
I
wouldn't say pro. Because look, I'm only 10 star multiplier. I'm not a pro.
Oh, that feels bad. No. I mean,
yeah.
it's good. It's good to talk about though because we blows in the chat. Oh, those are fighting words.
No, to be real, my favorite deck is Mally Druid, but
Malydrid. I love the Malydrid.
no, to be real, yeah.
But yeah, Secret Mage is. I was getting smashed by a Hobgoblin deck because that was making fat boards early.
Yeah.
And because they can run Broom, they dealt with Doomsayers. So like I'd play a Doomsayer on 2, and then they'd Hobgoblin play 3 0-drops or whatever, and then coin a Broom, and I'd still lose the game even with my like really good Doomsayer.
Yeah.
I can even freeze something. You know, it's like decks that can deal with the early clears, I guess, beat this, and decks that gain armor.
How do you do? I mean, like what I've seen all day long. I've been playing all day. And what I've seen all day is Token Druid or Aggro Druid. Is like, and God, by turn 4, they've got like a full board, fully buffed, and it's like, how do you deal with that?
Second game.
Yeah,
Allura
depth charge on the wall.
into tip into a turn 4 win.
Those are the good games. Yeah,
I'll stop. It's really cool. It really demands attention. I mean, it's.
It is. I know. I've been losing to it all day long. Except when, I mean, it's interesting because there is something to be said about the pilot of the deck versus the deck. Like the deck's not just going to carry you. I mean, we're joking in chat about Token Druid, Secret Mage being noob decks, but like, I don't know. We were playing Blutrane and I co-op earlier today. We were playing some Kingsbane against. I'll never forget this game. It was a Token Aggro Druid who, rather than like just going face with everything, was like trading with all my stupid pirates.
Yeah.
And they just let me win. Like they handed me that game that I had no business winning. And then I played against I was playing a lot of Q Block earlier today and seeing lots of Reno Priest on ladder, and had somebody play a Mind Render Illucia on me on 9 mana or something like that, and handed me, or 10, it was on 10 mana. And so we switch hands and they handed me their Reno Jackson, which I played. And they also handed me their Spawn of Shadows, which I also played. And then they wasted all their resources the next turn killing those 2 cards that I just took out of their deck. And then they gave me all my stuff back. They played Illucia to swap hands. Like, why would you do that? I don't know.
You did remind me. That is how Reno Priest beats you. Is Illucia after you play Lens. Literally, they Illucia after you Lens, then they play your tip for you, and then you just die to it. That happened to me. That was the one loss I had against Reno Priest. That's their out, from what I understand. There might be more, like playing more tempo based in that matchup might be really good for the Priest, but that is the out for them, from what I found. But sorry to interrupt. That you just reminded me of that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's what happened."
Well, I mean, I just think that there's something to be said about the pilot of the deck. I mean, the other piece of it is like I'm playing this deck partially last night, a little bit this morning, like not knowing how to play it at all, and there were some turns that I would just full on high roll and win super early, and there were some turns where I would draw, both tip the scales, both Anyfins, both prismatic lenses, and have nothing in my hand and just die. So I think, you have to be able to pilot it optimally. Ben from Work is a good example, right? When Darkglare was a thing, he made this janky Paladin deck. It was a Holy Wrath Paladin. Went some absurd win rate. It was like 40 and 7 or something like that. I don't remember. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
and then we played the deck later. It was like the most impossibly difficult deck to play, but with a really good pilot, you can do it. But it's not something that you can necessarily like. I think there's this misconception sometimes that like, oh well, you've got a good win rate. Can I have the deck code? Like that doesn't mean you're not going to know how to play it, right? Like sure, I'll give you the deck code, but good luck.
Hey, slide me that code, bro.
I've seen that a lot. Like I've had a lot of people messaging me, like questioning a lot of the choices that I like. The Solheads Pride card is a good example.
Yeah.
I thought that card was in my Legend Climb. That was by far one of the best cards in the deck.
Okay.
And that was the card that got questioned by everyone. And I think that card's insane. Like I'd keep that. That's one of the very, very, very few cards I'd keep in Mulligan in certain matchups. But like, it's like that card is like, it's the understanding of it, and it's like it's also different when you've built the deck. You understand why everything is in there. I know why these 30 cards are in there.
Right.
So like, I understand the condition that every card is good in. I'm not going to say best in because I'm never going to claim that I understand everything, with it. But it's like I've played this deck enough to where I understand where the cards are going to be good, where they're going to be bad. So yeah, I think a lot of it is playing it and again going over replays and stuff like that with it.
Yeah. So before we play this and wrap up the show, can we just talk briefly about some of the synergies here that may not be, I guess you wouldn't notice them without playing this a ton. For example, like Wand Maker is in this deck so that you get a one mana spell so that when you play High Abyss Allure that you can play your one mana spell so that you can get a free Anyfin or whatever it is. But when I first looked at this deck, I was like, why do you put Wand Maker in it? That's dumb,
Yeah.
but I get it, after I start playing it, I hear you guys talking about it, but I could see that, or people say like, look at this, and like, why you put Salhet's Pride in it? That's a bad card.
Yeah, like Dredging Murlocs that's the instant question I get. Is it Dredging Murlocs? And it does. They're not wrong. They're not wrong for saying that. It's not a wrong assumption to say either. It's like, and I appreciate questions like that too because it helps the deck improve. And that's what I think is good about getting it on a show like this is that I think this deck has a lot of potential and hopefully this gets it more. It's going to get it more publicity than I would by myself. So I'm excited to see what people can do with it. It's like with Darkglare. The pen flinger guy. I would have never done that, but someone did it.
A lot of innovations in Wild come from Standard because of what we discussed earlier about innovation. A great example is no one was running Risky Skipper, Armor Smith, and Etrium Rover in Wild, but now it's kind of spawned this whole archetype that people are super passionate about. I mean, you look at that card on its face, 3 mana for 2 cards is really good, but when you make it selective draw in the form of a light tutor with a pretty aggressively statted body, I mean, it's something that's been overlooked. It's strong, right? A
good example of Standard bleeding to Wild was the Bomb Warrior list that popped up so much recently. That Wild Bomb Warrior. That deck, at an eyes glance for me personally, that deck sucks. That is, you are playing a Standard.
That's exactly what I thought.
But when you look at that deck from my perspective as a Wild player, because I want to play fun, cool stuff, like unique stuff, I just play Standard. But that deck worked so well because of the same ideas transferred from Standard to Wild, and that's just true for
hey, real quick, Standard and Wild. Listen, Standard players, if you play a Standard deck in Wild, excuse me, and I beat you on turn 8 with Mally Druid, the combo, it's beautiful, Saltivar and all that, Moonfire and all that stuff coming down, raining on you, 16 damage per spell. Don't request a friend request after and then send hate mail. You played Standard deck in Wild. Just play a Wild deck. Just want to put that out there. It's only fair. That's all.
I endorse this statement.
Yeah.
If they come at me, like you played Standard in Wild, don't come at me. You can play it, just don't come at me angry.
I will say, I get a lot of friend requests. This has always been true in Wild. You get a lot of friend requests, I feel like, and I actually can probably count on one hand the amount that have actually been toxic, especially recently. It's really, really, really nice to see in Wild that I don't get flamed that often.
No, I don't either. And
this is some stupid stuff. I'm dealing 30 on turn 4. It's like I got people adding me and being like, dude, that was sick. I'm like, yeah, it was. Let's go. Like, so yeah, no, I agree. But I did want to add that I feel like I haven't had that issue like I used to, or even like I do in standard sometimes.
Okay, so Solid's Pride isn't here to pull your broomsticks, right?
Broomsticks, and it draws the protectors, which is like that's not a goal, but it's like a good thing when you're like, oh god, I'm gonna die. So it is good for that. Also, hitting a bluegill is not bad because a bluegill trades, and trading with this deck's Murlocs is kind of bad, but it's also not that bad because like Anyfin brings them all back, right? So like I think that the reality of drawing the Murlocs is not that big of a punish. But yeah, I think that the specific like I'm gonna draw two low cost cards for my deck is really, really, really good. Knowing what you're gonna draw is really powerful in card games as a whole. Like it's just, I've never really played card games besides Hearthstone, and like like Yu-Gi-Oh when I was like kid, like very young. But from what I understand is that concept bleeds over in card games. Is that tutoring is a very powerful tool.
Anytime tutoring is super powerful, and that's what I think where we have the benefit in Wild over Standard is like that is my favorite thing to do is play degenerate decks that can cheat out giant things for free. That is why Blutrane plays Big Shaman. That is why I play Cube Lock.
That's why you play Wild, right?
That's why we call it tutoring. I mean, I'm going to out my age here, but there was a card in Magic the Gathering called Demonic Tutor, which was a 2-cost card that let you literally go through your deck and pick any card and put it into your hand. It was so beyond busted that now anytime you selectively fetch something out of your deck, we call it tutoring after the card Demonic Tutor.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, being able to remove the randomness of your game plan is going to be very powerful, especially in a game like Hearthstone that has so much variance and randomness. You know, I mean, you look at this deck, you said it before, it's a high roll deck, although I'd argue that almost every deck these days in Wild is. So if you can control the odds to make it more high roll in your favor, that can only be a very powerful thing.
Yeah, and I think
Blutrane, you know what feels good about Demonic Tutor? Like, just the effect. Like, you know, playing physical card games, you get to pick your deck up, search for the card. But also the psychological in your opponent, when they see you pick your deck up, searching for a card. Like, they know in a few turns, that they know it's coming. They about to catch this smoke. They know it's coming.
Or used to play 4 of them in a deck. But anyways, Magic. Good times.
I mean, they're starting to experiment, and we've said this several times on the show. Like, I think they've done more with this set as far as thinking outside the box with just card abilities than they've done in a long time. And so when you get a card like Polkelt is a really good example. Like, hey, I just played Nozdormu. Now I've got 10 mana. I can play Polkelt and I'm going to draw my Anyfins and my Tip the Scales if I haven't already. And like knowing that that's going to happen is awesome.
Yeah. And another cool thing about Polkelt is it locks your Murlocs in your deck. You're not going to draw them until you draw your tip. That's a really important thing.
Hey, okay.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
And like matchups, when you need the 30, that's really important.
This is probably a bad idea, but if you're trying to... So I've recently included Sphere of Sapience in my Big Shaman list, which is very controversial. Not because I'm trying to dig for answers, although sometimes I use it for that, but I really want to control what's flowing into my hand. Is that something that you think is maybe a little too slow for this, since this is such a high octane deck? Because you could use it to, you know, if you're playing aggro, you can use it to fish for answers. But if you're playing against like that Reno Priest, you know, maybe you don't want to draw that War Leader or, you know, the Grimscale Oracle or what have you. I don't know. Just thought. Obviously, I've played two.
No, I think that's a good thought. I think that certainly has a place for experimentation. I don't want to craft Spear. I hate the card Spear personally. I just don't. I don't like it. So I don't have it. It's not worth the dust for me. Yeah. But I do think it is definitely worth a try.
There's 2 schools
I don't
here.
think it's bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, there's a streamer that is a friend of mine that I quite enjoy. His name is Igna. He's playing the deck, and he's playing a sphere in it. So great minds think alike. I don't know if it's working for him. I think he's struggling to play the deck a little bit because
he
just
needs
kind of playing it off the list. He needs to watch.
He needs to listen to the show
on here.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this co-op's gonna give a lot of insight into.
All right. Well, then let's maybe we should sort of wrap things up real quick then and phase over to that, because it's getting it's early for me, but for those folks on the East Coast, it's getting a little bit late. Is there anything else about the deck that you want to contribute before we sort of shift focus towards the end of the show?
No, I will just say I'm more than happy to talk about this deck with anyone. Just like, they showed my Twitter on here earlier. It's just 9 eyebrows. I plan on streaming more. So like, I want to play this deck and I want it to get really good. So you can just kind of feel free to message me about this deck anywhere. I think my DMs are open on Twitter. So like, I want this deck to get better. And I'm more than willing to work with ideas with it.
Hey, we appreciate that. That's super cool. All right. Well, then let's I think let's wrap it up here, and I will ask you guys. Let's see. I'm looking for my picture there. Okay. I think this is a good segue because you, 9 eyebrows, you were saying that you would be willing to interact with folks. Where can people find you if they want to interact with you?
So realistically, like what I'm gonna respond to best is Discord messages. I'm in the Born to Be Wild server. I'm not super active on Discord, but I respond to DMs. And Twitter, you've got my Twitter on screen here. The DMing me there will work because I'll get the notification. I'll check that. I really struggle with the friends list limit on Battle.net, so that's kind of rough.
Yeah, same.
But, yeah, Twitter, Discord are probably the two easiest for now. I want to start streaming more, so hopefully Twitch will be a good one for me soon.
Nice.
But I don't really stream as of now.
Well, if you do, if you start, also let us know, and we're happy to. You're welcome to post stuff in our Discord or share. We'll do whatever we can to help with that as well.
I appreciate that. That's awesome.
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. Well, I appreciate that, and I think that the folks watching or listening will appreciate that as well, and hopefully, and I recommend as well, listen to the show, watch the co-op. Like most people, I would guess, probably don't have Nozdormu, or like, hey, before you craft Nozdormu, like watch this and see if this is for you.
That's why I'm saying watch it. Like that's the exact reason. It's just because Nozdormu is expensive, and oh my gosh, you are never going to play that in another deck. I won't speak certainly, but as of now, you're not going to whip that in another deck.
There's
at least for a while.
There's a meme in you know what? Hold on, this is gonna ruin our video for a second, but it's worth it. I want to show you guys because one of my friends, Sean, he plays mostly standard, but he always plays dragon decks, dragon paladin decks, and he just hit legend again with a dragon paladin deck, and it was so funny because God, where is it? He had a meme and it was great, and I don't know where it is anymore.
There is. I don't know who made this list. I'm pretty sure it was from one of the Asia servers. The Polkelt, Molten Giant, Thekel, Highlander, Holy Wrath, Uther, OTK, Paladin. That's a mouthful. But yeah, it was like 3 OTKs in one deck. It's hilarious. It ran Nozdormu.
There you go.
So there's that. You can make that deck if you have Uther, Beardo, all that stuff.
I've said this for such a long time, but like, the longer that Wild is a thing, the more reason there is, like, our ability to play, Reno variant decks or whatever. And just because the card pool is so large. So, like, I was tempted earlier to play, like, a Reno Q block. Like, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. But, like, you could. So.
If all your cards are golden.
Yeah, that would be a problem. Anyways, all right. Well, let's wrap up. Hey, Blutrane, where can folks find you if they want to interact with you?
Twitter's good. Twitter at Blutrane, Blutrane. I stream once a quarter, so same thing on Twitch. But I'll post it on Twitter if I ever do that. I try to be active on there, so that's the best place. I'm also in various Discords. I'm trying to be a little bit more active in the Born to Be Wild Discord. It's something that there's so much going on. It's easy to pass up, but there's a lot of cool things. So hopefully you'll be able to catch me there too.
There's a lot going on, but it's fun.
It's awesome.
It's a good community. I have, which largely thank Mike for that. I think he revitalized it for us, and I really appreciate that. Mike, where can folks find you?
Yeah, so like usual, you guys can catch me here every Friday night. Born to Be Wild podcast. Catch me on Twitter, Michael TV. Also on Twitch, streaming during the week and morning into the afternoons. Streamed this past week. Did an 8-hour stream the other day. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Had a lot of people come through. Got some raids. Got a raid from Shia. That was cool. Shout out to Shia. But yeah, just catch me Twitter, Twitch, Michael TV.
Very cool. Very cool. As for me, best place to find me is on Twitter at NateWolfTCG. It's NateWolfeTCG. More importantly, you can find the show and everything show related on our website. It's borntobewildhs.com. Don't forget the HS, otherwise you will go to a website that you were not expecting, especially not at work. So
you don't want it. It ain't safe for work.
So borntobewildhs.com, and if you go there, you can find our podcast episodes. There's links to the Discord, there's links to email, there's links to YouTube, there's links to all the stuff. We're active pretty much all over the place, but it's all routed from our website. So I recommend that. Yo.
Oh, we gotta let them know. If they go to the website without the HS, they might find that Jaina unnerfed. Watch out, man. Watch out. Yeah. Just saying.
Oh God. That is a possibility. That is a possibility. And one little final piece that we always do as kind of a tradition here.
Unrelated advice with Nate Wolf.
So we always ask a little piece of unrelated advice, and a lot of times I'll try to come up with it myself. But we received a question in the Discord today. One of our friends here had a question specifically about teaching their kid how to brush their teeth, and so we'd like to ask you guys to help provide a little bit of answer there. And I know not all of you guys may have kids, especially you, Nine. If you do, then you're starting pretty young. But I can speak at least for Mike and myself.
I don't.
That you know of.
No, I don't.
But how would you go about teaching someone, especially a young child, to brush their teeth?
Well, the thing is, for me, I worked in food for like 4.5-ish years. And for the first 3 years of my work, I worked at the same place. Every time someone would come up, didn't matter, with a baby, the baby would start crying when they looked at me. Like, made eye contact, just start crying. And like, it sucked the first like 3 times. And then it was really funny because it's like, why does this happen every time? And it went away once I turned like 18. It like stopped happening for whatever reason. I think my demeanor just got less scary or something. I lightened up a bit or something. But I'm so bad with kids, I don't think I could ever get them to brush their teeth. I would give up. The dentist can do it. You know,
Wow.
It's like, oh, GG. I'm also probably like, I'm not the best person for
Blutrane, what about you?
I might have some years on Mr. Nine Eyebrows, but I best avoided the entire question in its entirety. I am not. There are no plans for children in this life, so just don't have kids. Then you don't have to teach them.
Cool.
Easy.
Easy.
Mulligan for no kids. That's perfect.
Oh my God.
I high rolled that one.
That's genius.
Mike, what about you?
That's genius. You don't draw patches, and he doesn't. Oh man, I love
Don't
that
have
logic.
babies.
I love that logic. Great way to play around it. So, as somebody who's been through this, I got 2 kids, 12 and 11. I've learned, also being the oldest sibling, that kids don't learn by like what you tell them; they learn by what they see. So, the trick with getting a kid to brush their teeth is to show them, picture of somebody smiling, somebody really happy, and like, this is what you do to get your teeth like that. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the visual. You got to show this kid, when you do this, this is the outcome. And it's just a trick, and it works. And you also want to get some kind of like tasty, flavorful, maybe bubblegum flavored toothpaste, and it'll help with the process along.
There you go. Wiser words were never spoken, and you heard that on Born to
If
Be
the
Wild.
tube looks like a minion, it's got a 50% better chance of working than like a non-minion based toothpaste. That's a
Non-menu based toothpaste.
I didn't talk about that at all, but the 2 streams, if you go on my Twitch channel, I'm pretty sure in my VODs, I haven't deleted it yet. I'm wearing a minion suit in a stream, just for just for my live stream. It was literally, I thought of a joke I could make with the title. And that was like a very unrelated thing, but I just thought of that with kids. They like minions. So maybe that would help. Maybe help them with minions.
Very good.
Everyone
very
likes
good.
minions.
That is true. Even if you like hate minions, there's a part of you that's like, that's kind of funny. Sorry.
No one hates minions. If they do, then they're just hipsters and they're lying.
That's
And you can
true.
totally call them out on it.
All right, let me end the show, you guys.
You have to get the censors out, Nate.
Murlocs, but like for movies.
I'm just gonna put a Mrglrglmrrrlggg over it. All right. Thank you guys. Hey, Blutrane, thank you so much for spending the evening with us. Especially, I know you weren't feeling the greatest. So I really, really appreciate your time. I always love hanging out with you. And
It was a great time. You guys are the best.
And
Thanks for having me.
Mike, of course, it's always good to see you.
Oh yeah.
And Nine Eyebrows, hey, thank you very much for spending the time with us, hanging out. I really appreciate it. So.
Thank you for having me. I had a blast. It was a really good time.
Absolutely. All right. For those folks listening, we will see you guys in the co-op. Otherwise, see you next week.